Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Under the Ring Podcast, episode 32. Today it's me, Marcus. Yeah, I've had a long week. It's me. It's the GREG. I'm joined today by, I believe, we'll get to you last. Let's start off with Tito. How you doing today, man?
What's going on, baby? Tag champ is in the building.
Mongo,
you had it, baby. You had it.
Know.
I gave everybody the fit. I gave everybody the fit shit.
Had it for an hour.
Well, I mean, you technically had it until Sunday.
That's true. And then we've got our own baby Otis over there. Justin, how was your WrestleMania weekend? Oh my God!
Oh shit!
You know, it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great WrestleMania.
I bet you did.
A wonderful WrestleMania. We pulled it out for Team SmackDown. I pulled it out on the podcast. So, you know, it was a great WrestleMania weekend for me. Taking home a couple titles. Of course, at Hardcore Justice, when Greg won the big title, I was tag team champ for like a day. So that was fun too. Me and my boy Matt got to be tag team champs together. So, you know, I hadn't been without a belt for a while, and it's nice to have the big belt
there. Yeah. Congratulations, what the fuck ever. You dick. And ladies and gentlemen, what joining us a little late today is our very own Chet Lemon, Mike Jones. Mike,
gotta make sure I show it off for my boy Mike too.
On a bullshit belt.
Hey, it's not bullshit.
Hey,
we the tag champ, baby.
You know what?
Man, what's good, fellas?
My boy Mike is the one that taught me how to be a champ. I got to be a tag team champ with him and Mongo, and then I took the big title at Mania. So shout out to Mike, the teacher man.
Mike Jones.
What's happening, UTR? Oh man, it has been a minute. Been a good minute. I hit, and I know I've told you guys, I hit a wall, and I feel like every year, like when it comes to wrestling, you just hit that wall when it's like, I want to watch this shit. Like, it's not for any particular reason. It's just I'm not in the mood for wrestling, and I feel like it always happens probably either early in the year or maybe like during the summer. For me, it happened right before Mania, and for the longest, I wasn't feeling Mania. But when the show actually happened, oh man, it was a good ass show. And also, before we continue, took my first COVID shot yesterday. And I feel good. I feel really good.
On that note, I just want to say, on behalf of all of us here, fuck you, Justin. And we'll,
yeah.
Let's get right into it. So,
You too, great.
The results of Mania and Takeover. We had some big news this week. A year to the day of Black Wednesday, which is the day last year where they let go of like 90 superstars, backstage personnel, employees from the WWE. Also, Tax Day in America. They released 10 superstars from the main roster. One of which was Samoa Joe. Of course, also the Iconics.
The big one was Mongo Raleigh.
Yeah, eat a dick. Yeah. May he find work, somewhere else. So God bless him. I'm just, I've said my piece on Mojo before.
He could be a host on Comedy Central or something.
It's well documented on this podcast and in our chats. It is well documented how much you hate that man.
I'll say I'll say it. Fuck him. I don't give a shit.
Honestly, I'm just surprised he hung on as long as he did, to be honest.
Once Gronk went back to the NFL, you knew his days were numbered.
Yeah.
So it's up to, I believe, 10. They said that NXT Superstars are going to be next, but we haven't heard anything about that yet. So for the 10 that were released, it was Billy Kay, Mickey James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Wesley Blake, Samoa Joe, Bo Dallas, Peyton Royce, and last and least, Mojo Rawley. There are a few names on that list that are surprising. The majority of them, it's spring cleaning. You kind of do what you got to do over there at WWE.
Some of them I kind of just hated that felt like they got the raw end of a deal. Like Tucker specifically, he and Otis were pretty over this time last year, really coming out of Mania, going into Money in the Bank. Obviously, it was Otis. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Otis was over. But Tucker was along for the ride. And, if they had taken Otis and put him in a singles, run and given him a singles run, he goes, wins, the Intercontinental title or whatever, that's fine. But they went and put him in another tag team. So it just feels like that was a wasted move. And now Tucker's out of a job because of it.
Yeah, him and also the Iconics, because both Heavy Machinery and Iconics suffered kind of the same fate, where they were a very popular tag team, and for no reason whatsoever, you split them up, and then after doing nothing with them for a while, you put one or both of them in another tag team when you could have just kept them together.
They've been featuring Billy Kay so much recently too. That was the other part.
Thing.
It's Billy Kay.
She had a whole comedy segment.
She was a main point of SmackDown for months.
Since Royal Rumble, really. And maybe even before that, she started coming out with her resume and her picture and did I enjoy it? No, I didn't really care about it. But that's not the point. They featured this woman heavily for months.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Mox was on his way out. He was featured a lot, but you knew this is his last days, last weeks, last months here. And once they split them up, the Iconics, it was okay. We kind of figured that one of them will be gone, but you didn't think that both of them would get released.
I don't even know that I saw that one cut. That one might have been one of the more shocking ones for me. Just because they had featured her a good bit. And it seemed like they had finally given her a tag team partner in Carmella right at Mania. And then she just gets cut. Which, like Mike said, if you take a step back, hindsight 2020, as soon as they broke them up, we should have known one of them was probably leaving. But both of them at the same time, and especially with one of them being featured relatively a pretty good bit.
Yeah, it's really strange because when they were broken up, the news was that Vince really saw a lot in Peyton Royce, right? That was apparently the big thing is that Vince loved Peyton Royce, and much like Otis, wanted to see what she could do by herself. The problem is the second they broke them up, she was just taken off screen and not used. Except for 5 or 6 matches between then and Mania.
Was Peyton one of the ones that was on that list of these are the 5 or 6 superstars that there are people in the back going to bat for? I know Cesaro was one.
Yeah,
she was one.
I thought Peyton Royce was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Peyton Royce was one of the main ones at the top of that. They saw big potential in her, potentially going and winning a women's title. Obviously, that's the only reason you break her up as a successful tag team is to go have her chase the title. If she's one of those 5 or 6, and do we remember what that whole list was of those 5 or 6 folks?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I know Cesaro was the main one that stood out, and he seems to actually be getting a decent push.
Every list included Cesaro, Angel Garza, Chad Gable, Carmella, and Peyton Royce.
Yeah. So basically, the only one that we've seen kind of work out is Cesaro.
Gable's on TV, Carmella's on TV. Garza, I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Well, Last time we saw Garza, he was getting beat by Priest.
Yeah,
and then Bad Bunny.
It's disappointing.
Terrible.
So Chelsea Green, like she got injured a lot, and that's kind of understandable. She'll do well wherever she goes. She'll be fine. Mickie James, they clearly just didn't really want her there because she's been fit and ready to go for a long time, and she still can go. In the matches we've seen when she came back, Asuka and some other people, she can handle herself. She can still go pretty well, as good as the best of them. They just
fit well with Impact.
And she's been there before, and she'll probably go back, or maybe she'll show up in AEW. You never know. Kalisto, them and cruiserweights never really mix. It's never a shock when a cruiserweight gets released, but it still sucks.
He just showed back up like last week looking yoked though. Like he looked ripped.
And I saw some promos of his on Twitter, and I was like, maybe they do something with him. And then all of a sudden they release him. It's like, okay, that was a waste.
Like that's the thing too. Like if you're gonna cut folks like Peyton and Kalisto and stuff, why even give them airtime? Like and Billy Kay to like build their stuff up in front of fans for a month or two or a couple weeks even, just so they can go to another company in 90 days. Like I don't know that it matters because I mean, like if they show up in AEW or Impact or New Japan, whatever, they're going to be looked at as pretty solid acquisitions. But to me, it's just nothing. I could see that.
That's a good point.
Let's keep it a buck though. Let's keep it a buck though. Like we know, like with Vince, he can rewrite a whole show an hour before the show starts. It's probably a couple names that probably wasn't on the initial list, and at the 11th hour, he said, he can go, she can go, and boom, they're gone.
That's also fair, yeah. Yeah, it's probably that's probably closer to what it was. Is maybe he saw something in him 3 weeks ago and then decided, I don't want to put any effort into this. Let's cut him.
It happens. Wesley Blake, Forgotten Sons kind of stopped, and we knew it was happening there. Bo Dallas, it's sad to see him go because he is still really good, but they didn't do anything for over 2 years. He hasn't wrestled since 2019.
Didn't he do it?
To be honest with you, when I saw his name, I was like, "Oh, he's still there."
Didn't they just do a test match for him right before
Mania?
Yeah,
at Mania. He was testing the ring with him. Wow. I don't know why he wouldn't just pair him up with Bray at some point.
Yeah, well, I do. I think he's one of the more exciting names on that list because I wouldn't mind seeing him show up somewhere. Impact probably is the best place because I think Impact builds folks like that to be believable and good again. Perfect example is the guy that had the longest losing streak in WWE
Dick Kick City,
has now become one of Mongo, and I think some of our others we enjoy him now. Like
Brian Myers.
I don't hate him.
It's just like they gave him a chance. They gave him a chance to talk. Turns out the guy can talk. And
yes, but I think Bo can. But we know Bo can talk and do some things in the ring, and he can. He's turned chicken shit into chicken salad quite a few times in WWE. The B team was should have been trash. It was not. I mean, it was probably the best thing going on Raw for 2-3 months when they gave them a little bit of a run.
Yeah. They had belts for a little while, and then
their segments were great.
He's the third NXT champion. I think it's Seth, Big E, then Bo. Yeah. Bo always had potential to do something, and just that they never really did anything with him is. I guess it's partly just because the roster's flooded, because you can't use everybody, but. That's a strange one to let go. And so he's 30. Like we were talking about this week. Like I was surprised how young he still was. I thought he was mid-30s. He's 30 years old. He's young. Impact probably would be. I'd agree with that. Probably the best place for him to go. I want to see him go somewhere else. I hope he doesn't retire. I know he and Liv Morgan are getting ready for retirement. They're already set up a few other businesses. But I hope he sticks around because I want to see him somewhere else.
I just want to see him have one more good run. Because I think he can be you could give me Bo in Impact with an X Division title run.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
He's a believable champion to some degree. I don't think his stock is completely obliterated. I think he's one of those performers that can kind of turn it around. I mean, could be a heck of a heel. We saw that in his NXT run. Like you wanted to hate that dude. Like he had a fun little NXT title run. I enjoyed the like where he'd hop out of the ring, run around the ring, and then he'd walk up to like his opponent and be like, "I believe in you. You can do it."
A friend of mine shared me a gift. He's a really big Bo Dallas fan. He shared me a gift of Bo running around the ring like that and running over El Torito and acting like you never saw him. It's like going around. It's just I think Bo has a ton of upside if someone wants to pick him up. I think it'd be a waste. If you don't go after Bo Dallas, I think you're wasting a potential great mid-carder.
I think there's 4 names on this list to me, maybe 5 that stand out that you're like, yeah, that's somebody that like should go to a company and potentially even be featured pretty heavily, or at least featured maybe in the mid card. And that would probably be obviously Samoa Joe, just because of who he is. And I think Peyton Royce and Billy Kay have a lot of upside. Chelsea Green is another one. And in the right situation, Kalisto could potentially be something. I mean, I don't know that for sure, and then Mickie James can just go be a nice solid mid-carder for somebody's women's division.
Send them all of them should be in Impact. Like
you can get a solid mid-card out of this list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Wesley Blake is actually not god awful. He actually is pretty good. It's just that I think Peyton
Royce could be even a main event potential.
Absolutely. Peyton Royce
for the right company, she can carry a title at the top, whether that be a Peraza Royce feud. I think you could drop her into AEW, have her do some stuff with Thunder Rosa and Nyla and Britt. Britt will be fun to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a late addition to the show. It is the man, the myth, the midget. That's Ken Dango, Kenny Rivers Almas. Kenny, how you doing?
What it do, people? What it do? I am currently driving, trying to join this podcast. I'll be at my normal station in about a good 10 minutes, but I couldn't let the people not see me, for that long. It's been a while since the people see me, so I had to let them get a glimpse of the face. Didn't want them to think, the big bad booty man wasn't going to be here, but I is.
Oh shit!
All right.
I guess we were talking about current releases. Is that what we were just talking about?
Yeah, we're going to the 10 releases. It was Billy Kay, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Wesley Blake, Bo Dallas, Peyton Royce, Mojo Rawley, and Samoa Joe.
Now, I do have one question. They made a big deal about how the next round of cuts that were coming for Black Friday was NXT, but I didn't hear anything. Did anybody?
Nope. They didn't cut anybody yet.
You think they'll cut them next week to try to get them outside of a certain date that they may not be able to compete by?
Maybe.
I don't know
because Summerversary is coming up soon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if they may wait on some of those names. I mean, I don't even know who it would be at NXT.
But
I think it would just be people that are at the Performance Center that don't do anything. That'd be my
okay. Yeah.
Here's something I did find interesting. Everyone else who got cut were released. They had the 90-day no compete clause until July 14th. Mojo, on the other hand, only has his no complete clause until May 31st.
Yep.
Why is that?
Because either he doesn't know how to do basic math, or he got a special deal for.
They just don't
really, what are you gonna do with Mojo, man? What are you gonna do with Mojo? Like, if a place picks up Mojo, how much can they get out of him?
That's when Mojo's gonna show up in Impact and ruin it all.
I'll be furious. I'll stop watching.
Mojo,
I'll stop watching.
You can be as furious as you want to be, but we all know Mojo is showing up in Impact. He's showing up in Impact. It's
can you go to Ring of Honor? Can you go to like? Thank you, Mark.
What other
Mojo is not a draw.
What other promotion
will never be a draw?
Where Mojo fit in?
We saw the Mickie James to NWA earlier. Maybe throw him there. I don't know. Anywhere but
you know what?
Anywhere but anyway.
Mojo needs to be a manager.
No, it doesn't.
Fellas, think about this.
Impact is the only place where Mojo will be able to actually be that hype man persona, and it won't look crazy. He's going to Impact.
I really don't see that.
You know what? I think the best
deal
stock,
of a swing man.
bro, the best storyline that could come out of this whole release is if Mojo goes to Impact and Mongo has to start liking. He randomly,
Give me 5 minutes, brothers. I'll be back on the regular.
like if he comes out at Impact and like actually becomes like good that randomly, and then Mongo has to him.
I mean, it happened to Ass Man. Same
It did happen to Ass Man.
I was, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because I ain't trying to do that. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
It was worth it.
Yeah, but it was. So yeah, that was it. That's the releases. Samoa Joe was shocked. Like, I know that he had injury problems, and they, as a wrestler, he wasn't doing much for them, but he wanted to come back to wrestle. Apparently, the doctors didn't want to clear him or Mickey James to wrestle for WWE. But even then, as an announcer, he was the best announcer we all had.
He was great.
You can use him as a manager. You can use him as a trainer. There are the potential is limitless for Samoa Joe.
I mean, even the interview segments he did for Io and Raquel, like, it was fucking awesome. He hit like he's another fucking JR.
I think it's interesting that this week also saw 2 additions to WWE. I don't know if you call Pat an addition, but like to his role. To his role as an addition, right? Because he's been there before, but I mean, he wrestled when he was there before. I just wonder if the addition of Adnan Virk and Pat McAfee was literally to try to drown out the Samoa Joe stuff.
Well, that they
right. But I mean, in the sense that, like, oh, look, they went and got like this guy from ESPN to be the announcer now, and they went and got Pat to come back and be the announcer now. I wonder if that was like their plan to kind of deflect and get away from the fact that, because like what you're talking about is, even if you didn't believe that Samoa Joe could wrestle anymore, he had made it pretty apparent that he could be a phenomenal announcer and commentator. Bringing in 2, I don't want to call Adnan Virk a big name, but like, would you say just like
he's a name
outside of like the realm of WWE? People know him from ESPN and the baseball stuff. I mean, you've seen if you're a baseball fan, you've seen him.
Let me tell you this. And speaking of him not being known, he actually spoke to on the Ryan Russillo podcast. He talked about how he was surprised no one knew who he was when he joined Raw. He said, what I found fascinating was how necessarily wrestling fans don't know who I am. Like, I was laughing at. There was definitely a cross-section of, oh my God, I know that guy, or he's great, or I know that guy from NHL, whatever that is. But there's been a lot of, well, who's that guy? Who is this? Why is he here?
Well, that breaks the misconception that wrestling fans in general are sports fans.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. Like, that's why I was saying maybe that was WWE's plan. I'm not saying that people necessarily were going to receive him well, but just the fact that in WWE's mind, maybe they thought, yeah, they'll know this dude. And then obviously Pat is the bigger name of the 2. And Pat will probably do a phenomenal job, to be honest.
I think they will.
I think
Pat on Friday. It'd be great.
Yeah, I think Pat will do well. I mean, long term, I think Pat will be good, depending on how long he stays and what they decide to do. But I think he could be really good. But just imagine for a second if we'd had Pat on one show and Samoa Joe on the other. I think it was money as your announce teams. You throw in the NXT stuff, which I will say I thought there was something interesting about their commentary team this week. Wade Barrett said that he may be considering coming out of retirement and wanting to wrestle again. Said that after seeing what Sheamus has been able to do, that he thinks that he might have another run in him. So that could be another shakeup of that announce team. So that'll be interesting to watch as well.
Well, if that happens, then we can send Tom Phillips there because he's definitely not on Raw anymore.
That's true.
Tom Phillips is replaced by Adnan Virk.
Yeah, Mark point Mark. He did make it seem like Adnevert really made it seem like he was just this big name from ESPN. But he really like even as somebody who watches ESPN constantly, he's not somebody that like I knew who he was, but I not necessarily didn't know a lot about his work and what he's been able to do there.
And that goes to show that he has an ego too. Like if you just walk into a situation and go, "Oh, this would be a good transition," people know who I am. No, they won't, bro. Especially in this world, the wrestling world, you don't know who knows you or who don't know you.
And then also, like him coming off as like having an ego is gonna rub wrestling fans the wrong way. Like he has now dug himself a hole that he's gonna have to like work really hard to dig himself out of, and I just don't know that he's talented enough to do it.
If they did on Raw, I would say not. I don't know why you get a baseball announcer or a baseball commentator for wrestling. I like baseball. I think you have to keep up this feeling of excitement in wrestling. And there's a lot of lulls in baseball. A lot of lulls.
Oh, yeah.
And you could kind of hear that in his commentary on Monday. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, again, him trying to say he should be known is not a good look. And wrestling fans, do not forget shit.
And now, not only that, but like WWE kind of did him a disservice because they decided to release Samoa Joe the next day or in the same week as they brought him in, he is now going to constantly get comparisons to Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. Whether that's the role he's filling or not, that's still going to be who the fans look at. It's like, man, we could have just kept Samoa Joe here. Why is Samoa Joe not on our screen? Why is this dude on our screen? So like it makes it even worse. And I think WWE thought they were going to like detract attention from the fact that like Joe was leaving and wasn't going to be a commentator anymore and was leaving the company. But I think what they've done is actually enhance the fact that he's not there, and it's going to be really, really annoying to wrestling fans that we have to listen to Adnan Virk instead of Samoa Joe.
And not to mention, and something interesting happened this past week on Raw. It sounds like in that main event, Graves and Saxon, they was carrying him a lot in that main event. I don't know if it was by design, but you could tell that all three of those guys were equally calling that match. And Matt had mentioned are they splitting time here? And I was like, oh, I thought I was the only one who thought that. But I think okay, as far as his ego, yes, he needs to tone that down, but he only had one show. Okay? I think naturally he's going to get better. He's going to get more acclimated to WWE's way of calling the show. And I think overall he'll be fine, but he does need to relax a little bit because to the original topic, not everyone knows who you are. So I think overall he'll be fine. But yeah, people are going to definitely compare him and Joe. Is it fair? Who's to say? But it is what it is, especially in wrestling.
Yeah. And wherever he goes, he'll be money. He will not have to. It will not be hard for him to find work. He'll be okay.
Oh, no.
AW Impact, Ring of Honor, wants to go to New Japan. Everyone will be looking to get Samoa Joe.
Yeah. AEW would be a lot of fun, I think. I know we kind of hate on that product a lot, but
I think he's doing things right.
I think he could be the thing that kind of really helps them, especially at the stage of his career. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he'll just be like another Christian for them," and I don't agree. I think he can go in the ring, he can talk, and I think that's something they're kind of missing is that storytelling veteran that can come in and immediately make an impact for them. And he's not like necessarily rusty.
The thing about Joe is that he has an intensity about him that nobody has on the planet. When you bring Joe in for a match, AEW has this habit of like cracking a lot of jokes, even during very serious situations and stories. Joe will not do that.
No.
Joe is going to target you And Terry, we've seen all these great promos of Joe over the past few days coming up on Twitter. People just kind of bringing up all the good stuff. His stuff with AJ, things he did with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. The night that he assassinated 6 different people at once on SmackDown. Joe would be a very different presence no matter where he goes. I hope it'll be in the ring.
And
you guys,
and to further that point, Mongo, because of that intensity, he can use that intensity in all 3 levels of wrestling: in the ring, as a manager, and on commentary. And he can equally express that intensity within any of those realms. So he will never have any trouble finding work and being a staple.
Mark asked, do you guys think his injury and accelerated age, he can do what AJ did when he came to WWE?
It depends on what promotion it is. It really depends on what promotion it is. If he goes back to Impact, yes, he definitely can. If he goes back to Impact, he definitely can put on that type of performance and be the top man. If he goes to AEW, no.
It all comes down to his concussions. And we saw people come back from, having to retire from stuff like that, like Daniel Bryan, Edge, where concussions, bad neck injuries kind of put you in a bad spot. And you come back and you have some of the best work in your career. Joe can do that. It would be hard for him to do that in AEW. There's a lot he has to keep, and it's not that he can't keep up with it. AEW
is all about spots.
It is, and Joe is not a spot wrestler. Joe is
hard hitting.
Along with that, there are a lot of injuries in AEW. Usually, because they all work the same style. They all work fast-paced, high-flying, crash into you, crash and burn, see what happens. They all do the same stuff. Which is something that Joe has worked around in the X Division before, but he didn't have to do it every single week.
Yeah.
And that was in his prime. That was in his prime, yeah.
Yeah, then too. I think he can succeed in AEW. I don't know that he can do like an AJ level run in AEW. I think Kenny's right. I think Impact's where he can have that kind of run, but it really depends on what he wants to go do. Like I think in AEW there's a role for him, and I think he can fill it and have a run and probably a title run. I mean, down the road. But I mean, if you're wanting instant impact and instant like an instant run where he goes and he can dominate, Impact's probably the best place.
I think he could be world champion in AEW. I just don't think it would be immediately.
I have a question. Considering, the recent injuries, concussions, things of that nature, let's say AEW or Impact, let's say you signed him. How would you introduce Joe?
You let him introduce himself.
If it's Impact,
you let him. It doesn't make a difference to me personally. It doesn't make a difference which promotion he goes to. Joe is known. So, and it's honestly, it's not like he had his music changed either.
Yeah,
once that music hits, people are gonna know who it is, and they're gonna go fucking ape shit. And the minute that he gets there, you put him in that main title scene, whether he wins or not. He goes in that title scene immediately.
Okay, let me not use the word introduce, because you're right, Kenny. He's known. He's one of the most known wrestlers in the world. Let me not use the word introduce. How would you debut him on that product?
Oh, he comes in and chokes somebody out. He comes in and chokes somebody out. That's immediately. He comes in. I don't care if he jumps from the crowd, whatever it is. He comes in, he chokes somebody out. That's it.
If it's AEW, he chokes out Kenny Omega.
If here's the thing, if there was no 90-day compete clause, Rebellion would be the perfect time for Joe to show up, because it's AEW versus Impact. Whoever won that would be the person that got choked the fuck out.
Yep. That would be Slammiversary will probably have some AEW versus Impact stuff going on that card too. Would not surprise me.
I'm thinking Slammiversary is when Impact tries to win their belt back.
Yeah, I think AEW and Impact are going to have a big Slammiversary show, and I think if AEW gets Samoa Joe will be working Slammiversary.
Yes.
But yeah, no matter what you do. So what I would do really. So if he goes to Impact, he doesn't choke out a champion because Rich Swann won't be champion. Let's be real. He won't be champion.
It's Moose.
It's Moose. You have him go after Moose. First thing he does immediately.
Moose is his absolute first feud in Impact.
Moose says
the only other person who I honestly think could be a good first feud for Joe, if not Moose, believe it or not, Willie Mack.
Yeah.
Willie Mack or Moose is Joe's first feud in Impact. If it's AEW, it's Kenny Omega or Hangman Page.
I think if you want,
actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, Margo. If it's AEW, it's Kenny Omega or Brian Cage.
If you want him to come in as a heel, he goes after Darby Allin.
I was gonna say Darby or Mox.
Yeah, destroy Darby.
And if he goes after Darby, he's winning that belt. You cannot have him go after Darby and lose.
No.
Yeah.
Am I the only person tired of Darby Allin as champ?
I'm not tired of it, but it's the same shit every week.
Right. And I don't even know.
I'm kind of hoping Jungle Boy takes that shit off him this week.
Me too.
In 3 months,
I wouldn't be mad if Jungle did it.
In 3 months, I don't think Darby's your champ for TNT title, so we'd have to probably reassess at that point. But if it's somebody, even if it's Jungle Boy, coming in and destroying him, that'd be pretty cool.
Jungle Boy would be even better because Jungle Boy's even smaller and even
more beloved.
Yeah. But yeah, with Joe, no matter where you go,
Jungle Boy is smaller than fucking Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Wait,
is he? I think they're about the same. No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Jungle Boy weighs less. Let's see.
How do we feel though?
Darby's shorter. Yeah.
How do we feel though about if
See, Jungle Boy is 150 pounds and Darby Allin's 170.
Excuse me? What?
Jungle Boy is 150 pounds and Darby's 170.
These motherfuckers is junior high school weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Darby's 5'8" and Jungle Boy's 5'10".
That was me in sixth grade.
I look in sixth grade.
That was me going into ninth grade.
Yeah. I do have a question for y'all though. If Joe does go to AEW, debuting him on Slammiversary, is that the move? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, because he has
even though it's the other person's show.
Slammiversary, because of last year, Slammiversary will be getting a lot of eyes.
Okay.
And with AEW now working with them and New Japan, Slammiversary is the show to start your new feuds, to introduce new people, and to get more storylines kicking off. Without question.
If he does come out for Slammiversary, I wouldn't mind seeing the way, because going back to Mike's question of how would you debut him, if it is Slammiversary, I'd love to see him come out as though he is joining like Impact and carrying their banner. And then if he's joining AEW, I mean, he comes out, acts like he's going to join Team Impact, looks like that's going to be the direction he goes in. He turns on Impact, immediately starts choking out Moose or whoever it is on that side, and like stands with AEW strong at the end of the night.
And there's a story there because part of the reason he left Impact was because of money, which Impact back then had a history of not paying up.
I don't think that's the case now.
Not anymore, no.
Now they just don't sign motherfuckers.
If you want to go that story, yeah, that's true. If you want to go that story, that it's there. It is there. I think we all can agree that Samoa Joe is the lottery pick, the one that you want to get out of this release list. Then the Iconics. Mickey would be good for a veteran. And then after that, see what you can do. We want to talk about that. Tom Phillips was replaced by Adnan on Monday. Corey Graves is also on Mondays. And Pat McAfee's on Fridays with Michael Cole. McAfee did fine. He did really good. I think he'll be a great addition. He'll be able to kind of give more energy along with Cole's, whatever Cole does. It'll be.
It's boss time.
Oh God! Every time I hear my ear bleeds a little bit. Aside from that, I mean, news-wise, there wasn't a ton. From Impact, Nevaeh has left. She's going. No one really knows yet, but she's not with Impact anymore.
Yeah, what was that about?
Apparently, it was just not a long deal because she came in last.
Oh, hold on! I got another person
June?
that left, and we saw this shit, and I didn't think it was real. Roddy legit gave his papers to NXT.
Roddy ain't left yet.
Roddy Strong, those papers that he gave William Regal on NXT were legit.
No.
From what I read in Strong, those were legit.
From where?
It was I forgot which site, but it said that Wrestling Observer said that Roddy was one of the people who were gone.
Because I know that they have him on like his alumni section, but I thought that was just part of the story.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
I'm on Wrestling Observer. I don't see anything about it. Like about him being gone.
We'll have to check back on that one. I don't know if that's true yet. Nevaeh has left after she's only there for 8 months. If that, yeah. Let's see. People assume that she's going to be working with Tenille after turning heel, but she's just gone. She's out. After losing to Havoc on BTI, she has left. As of right now, no one really knows why she's left. She apparently was on good terms with everybody that was there and the company, but she's out. Would you pick her up if you were a wrestling company?
No.
Not Nevaeh? You wouldn't? Okay.
No. She's out of her and Havoc. Havoc is the one that stands out.
Agreed. If AEW hadn't already had a flooded women's roster of mostly work in progress competitors, I'd pick her up, put her on Dark or something. But
what's going to happen with the Knockouts title now? Because honestly, the only two teams that were going after Fire and Flavor were Grace and Jazz. Jazz just retired officially again. And Nevaeh and Havoc. And Nevaeh is gone. So
Jordan's getting a new partner at Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can assume that's why I kind of want the Iconics to go to Impact.
Right.
Because I want a team in there, and I think Iconics and Fire and Flavor would be really fun. Promo wise, it'd be fucking hilarious. I think it'd be great.
Yes.
Imagine the Iconics like crashing the Fire and Flavor. Probably be, oh my god, that'd be fantastic.
Give me Swinger and Billy Kay. Give me Swinger and Billy Kay, folks.
Some
yes.
Aussie Riznats.
We got some kangaroo Brizzards here, Daddy.
Oh no, she's so Nevaeh is there for a full year, April to April.
Wow.
Okay, all right.
Is Thunder officially signed to AEW yet, or is she still?
She's still with
NWA. So that's why she cut that promo saying she wants all the belts, including the NWA belt back.
Yeah, she's gonna do the whole belt collector thing.
Points. Okay.
Yeah, she is still signed currently to NWA. So we'll see how that goes. So I said this before we start Takeover and did WrestleMania. So because NXT moved to Tuesdays, I usually do the results for Sportskeeda for NXT. And so I was never able to watch AEW live. I always had to do strictly NXT. So I watched AEW live for the first time in God knows how long. And I got to see, first off, that tag match is garbage. I don't care what Dave Meltzer says.
It was. Absolutely.
Trash.
Do you know what I loved about that show, though? Jade Cargill and Red Velvet.
Yes.
They really, really surprised me because I kept hearing about how Jade's still so green and Jade still can't really. Jade looked great.
She's a natural.
We were talking about it in the chat. First of all, Jade has advanced very quickly in what she's been doing. Secondly, we were talking about how Jade and Velvet have really, really good chemistry together because they make each other look really good together in the ring. Because I've never seen Red Velvet before. So I can't go on past stuff and saying that she's good or whatever. I can only go on what I've seen her here, and every match so far that I've seen has been against Jade. If I'm not mistaken, they've only competed against each other so far, correct?
I think they both had a singles match or two against other people, but it's not been important. They've been kind of like blow off, like real easy one-sided matches.
Yeah, the first thing, like a counter that was worth the damn was that tag match. It was Shaq.
Yeah, that's the first time I think I've seen them.
Yeah,
Right. They have really good chemistry together, and they know how to work well with each other. So, kudos to whoever has been producing their matches and working with them together.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stories about how TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd, was the producer for a lot of the women's matches over the last weekend. Which, first off, he did a great job. He did fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Whoever did that match for Jade and Red Velvet, keep it up. Because that really, Mark says Velvet's been on Dark. I don't watch Dark. I don't watch Dark, or I don't watch the other show they have. They don't. I can't do it. It's too much. But yeah, they definitely have the future of the women's division right there. Both of them will be great. And it's kind of crazy because that originally wasn't going to be the feud. It was going to be Brandy and Jade. And I feel like if we had gotten Brandy and Jade, Brandy would have kept Jade down.
Yeah.
And we'd be sitting here saying how bad Jade is. But I think, like, clearly Red Velvet's a bit more experienced and is kind of leading stuff. But those two are stars. There are a lot of great matches over the weekend, over Mania weekend. Dave Meltzer believes that none of them were as good as the Bucks versus Death Triangle match.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Giving them 5 stars.
Oh, my God.
I'd give them 2.5.
I wouldn't give. I'm not giving them that. I'm not giving them. I told you the most impressive thing that I saw at that match was the authentic and real Dior Jordans that the Young Bucks had on. Since there is somebody
that they wrestled in.
No, because we in another group that we were in, there was somebody who believed that the Bucks were wearing fake Dior Jordans.
Well, not just that. Twitter said that they were fake. A lot of wrestling fans on Twitter thought they were fake. It was a huge thing.
Listen here. Let's be realistic. First of all, people act like the Young Bucks technically aren't celebrities. They run in celebrity circles. These wrestlers are celebrities, so they get their hands on exclusive shit. Secondly, the Young Bucks are probably one of the only people in wrestling, besides probably Kenny Omega, who were free agents and made just as much money as people who were in WWE. The top people in WWE. So guess what? They can make that money. They can get those.
And then Nike endorsed the show. Nike show was like, yeah, look at them representing Nike. Like if
they retweeted the picture with them showing and saying Dior on it.
Like for real. It is some hating ass people in this world, man. Hating ass people. Like the elite has been getting the bag for the past few years now. Like let's not act like they haven't been out here getting money. They've been getting money. They started their own fucking company, okay? So you can't have the audacity to say, oh, some shoes are fake. Just because you can't afford a motherfucker? Really? Stop hating.
They had enough bread to come to another rich motherfucker and say, hey, we want to start a company. You want in on this?
Yeah. And got that company to be featured on a major television network. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. I was about to talk about how, people usually don't like him or like Jim Cornette fans. Jim Cornette reviewed a match from Mania. And he has a guy that does art for the show. He reviewed the Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks matches. First off, great shit. Fantastic match. The art that they showed was Jim Cornette like wincing and Sasha and Bianca in WNBA jerseys. And him comparing women's wrestling to if you would promote the WNBA over the NBA. They got a lot of sparks and controversy on Twitter, so I don't know if y'all thought anything about that, if y'all really gave a shit, if you want to talk about it or not.
I don't pay anybody who rents their wife out attention.
Yeah, I don't give two shits about Jim Cornette. His opinion doesn't matter.
If you rent your wife out, you get no respect from me, so I don't give a shit.
Honestly, the dude just really, he wants
controversy.
He wants the controversy. He wants people to do exactly that. And I want to give him the time of day. Like, he doesn't matter. Like, his time has passed. He doesn't matter anymore. He was sitting there doing stuff with NWA, and he decided to make a racially charged remark. I just have no use for the dude. He's an awful human. So no.
Here's my thing. The problem I have with Jim Cornette is a problem I have with a lot of the old timers that make a lot of statements. They're hating on the fact that the new people have more ways and opportunities to make more money than what they ever did. They're more popular than what they ever were. And on top of that, these guys are mad that the wrestlers nowadays don't have to be wrestlers 24/7 the way they did. These old dudes are too busy still living in their personas. Like they're still in the ring and still in the business. That's the problem. Jim Cornette is mad he can't be anybody other than Jim Cornette with the tennis racket. That's what his beef is. He can't be anything else than that. He can't do anything else but be that. These older dudes are still living these personas. They don't know how to separate their wrestling from their personal, which is why most of them are broke, alone, and in rehab.
Yeah. I've heard his comments on a lot of like current stuff. And I agree with a lot of stuff he says about current stuff, but God damn it, you can't defend a lot of that shit that he says. And it's just
he's a terrible human.
Yeah, man. It
unfortunately,
like demanding the death of someone you just don't like is not something you should do. And I that man has like gone on social media. He's put out videos about how much he wants Kenny Omega to die, literally die, be killed.
Yeah, he's got issues.
He's got problems.
And also, I think to go deeper, I think unfortunately it still goes to show that wrestling as a whole dislike women. Don't like women.
Yeah. I mean, he's a sexist, racist asshole. Like, at the end of the day, that's what he is. He's a bad human. So, if that's what he wants people to say about him,
a lot of people think like him. Unfortunately, that's why he's still relevant.
Yeah, he's still relevant because a portion of America, a portion of the wrestling community, they're also sexist and racist assholes. If we're being honest.
All right, let's put the elephant out the room, yo. Let's be realistic. Wrestling is a country good old boy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. Wrestling is for rednecks.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's for rednecks.
Down at the bingo hall.
Basically. That's why they had regions and territories and shit like that, because it was their little redneck sections. You know what I mean? So those people, unfortunately, a lot of those people are still alive, and they had their beliefs go down from a generation to a generation, and that third generation is now in charge of certain bigger wrestling promotions and things like that, where they still can impose that and still have that voice to be heard. That's the bullshit about it.
Which is why we need to celebrate even harder when we see a WrestleMania match. Michael
Cole with the call. Can we get Michael Cole a round of applause for the call that he made? Talking
for the first night. Yeah.
Let's give it be known. Michael Cole made it known that was the very first time WrestleMania has ever been main evented by two black women.
Yes.
Yep.
That is something we need to celebrate, appreciate, and push for more of, because that is the biggest answer and biggest way of telling Jim Cornette and people like him to go fuck themselves. That's the best way to do it, is have it in the product and continue to push for it.
Justin, I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to implore to my people of my community. A lot of times we as a community complain, oh, they never represent us in wrestling and stuff like that. They never represent us in wrestling. How about we start opening up some wrestling gyms? We have basketball courts everywhere in my community. We have basketball courts everywhere. You can't expect a wrestler to come out of a place where there's no mats, there's no rings for him to train. You want more? We want more of us in there. How about we give ourselves the opportunity by putting more of that in our own community, so that way we can be represented more. That's what it basically boils down to. We can't be represented if we're not in the race. Why don't we let's put ourselves in the race?
And not even just like if your school, junior high, high school, had the wrestling team,
join it.
Your son, nephew, cousin, whoever, to join the wrestling team.
Right, encourage it.
Yeah.
We always encourage the shit out of basketball, football, even baseball. Encourage wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You can guess what? You can get a full fucking academic scholarship on wrestling. You can be somebody important with wrestling.
Become a multi-time national champion. Shit, fuck around and be an Olympian.
You're right. NASCAR in particular. NASCAR definitely in particular.
I would go with one thing to say with NASCAR, though, is that within the last year, they've woken up.
Yes.
We've seen the addition of the Jordan team with Denny Hamlin. We've seen the addition of Bubba Wallace being the driver for that team. There's more youth growing up in that sport now from those communities. Again, like Kenny said, putting themselves in the race. That's a big part of it, is giving yourself that opportunity and going and so we are seeing more of that. So I think NASCAR, even to some degree, is doing a pretty good job, at least within the last year, of starting to recognize their place and ability to have a platform, and basically, telling the fans to either accept what we're doing here and grow up, or don't watch our product anymore. So I will say that the NASCAR within the last year, again, they are still behind. Within the last year, though, they have at least put some resources into trying to bridge that gap that we're talking about.
Right, like we gotta put ourselves in a race. If we want to be there, if we want to be talked about, we got to put ourselves in a race. We really do. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. There's an area in Queens. I'm not going to say the exact area because I don't want anybody that's a police to go check that area out. All right, but there's an area in Queens where dudes race their cars up and down all day long. They meet up. They have car clubs. They do all of this shit. There are car clubs in New York City where if you drive a Honda, you're in a Honda club. They have this shit in the city.
Yes, they do.
Give these guys the opportunity to go to a real track.
A certain spot in the Bronx too.
All right, put them in situations where they can go to a real track where they can race. Put them behind the wheel of a real race car to see if they can handle it. Because anybody can do 100 in a Civic. I mean, like, let's see if give them an opportunity. Like, you gotta do it. Like, if you want to be in a race, you gotta do it. Like today, our Major League Baseball is definitely on the rise with as far as people of color being in it. It's definitely rising a lot more than what it was from when I definitely was growing up. You know what I mean? Right. That is one mark. Say this loud. Say this loud. This is 100% truthful. We have to stop clowning each other for not liking shit other than basketball and football.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Like everybody on this podcast knows I'm a big wrestling fan. Hence the reason we're all here. You know what I mean? My first love is boxing. My second love is football. Wrestling will be my third. You know, growing up in Bushwick, Brooklyn, of course, when WrestleMania came around, everybody watched WrestleMania. I couldn't tell people I was still watching wrestling every day of the week, every weekend. Teenage years, New York City in the late 90s, early 2000s was rough. I'm going to tell you that right now. It was rough. If you wasn't in the gang, you better join one or you better had known somebody. Plain and simple, it was rough. I'm out there doing whatever I'm doing, you know, being a teenage kid in New York City. I still can't tell people I'm sitting there watching Nitro.
Yeah.
We really at 40, I'm going to be 40 years old in August. I am pretty much reintroducing friends and family that I knew growing up were watching wrestling. I'm reintroducing it to them now because they probably wanted to stay watching it, but it's not cool. It's not cool in the hood. It's not. Like I said, unless it's something like a WrestleMania. You can't even say SummerSlam because they don't know what SummerSlam and Survivor Series really is like that. But if you say WrestleMania, everybody knows WrestleMania. That's Super Bowl. So yeah, WrestleMania they'll watch it, but other than that, it's not cool in the hood. It's not.
I think that's why, especially with social media, it's our job as men of color to put more of a limelight on stuff like wrestling on our social media pages. Because let's be real, the world is small now, thanks to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like I posted about the Sasha and Bianca match, and I had over 30 people like it. And I know for a fact 25 of them don't watch wrestling at all. This is the fact that I put out there that says, oh, we made history again. Black people made history again. It's something that they can say, maybe I'll find Raw or SmackDown this week.
Well,
only for a few minutes. I can at least see what's going on. Boom, you got more people connected to wrestling.
And then, like, it's not just like, yes, I've already said we need to celebrate and appreciate Sasha and Bianca, but like, if you go up and down that card, there were other Apollo, Big E, fantastic match. We saw the guy at the very end, Dabba-Kato. He's half Nigerian, so they're keeping with that storyline, which I think is really cool. We saw New Day versus Omos and AJ. Omos got a good bit of shine in that match as one of his first matches. You know, and then honestly, like one that shocked me was Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, which I know is another minority community being represented by on this card. And I think those are the matches and those are the things that we need to continue to highlight to hopefully get more.
The majority of the champions in WWE are minorities.
Here's the funniest shit in the world. You want to know something? There's a minority that is so small in WWE, but is represented so big. The Samoans. This is the Pacific Asian. There really is not that many Samoans in wrestling. But it just so happens they all come from the same fucking family and they're all fucking champs, no matter what promotion across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's because, like, the Samoans, they're one of, like,
they embrace wrestling.
Families of wrestling.
They embrace wrestling.
Their lineage is that strong.
But nobody else in Samoa wrestle except for that family. Like,
nobody else. We have one, and he got fired this week. So,
who?
Joe.
Oh, right. We don't know. Right. That was the only other Samoan. And they got from that family.
They got rid of because look, we already got a whole family. We don't need anymore. We don't need that guy.
Get
the hell out of here.
We already have a Samoan named Joe. We don't need Samoan.
But I mean, that's almost kind of what to your point though, Kenny, is that family and that region did embrace wrestling and pushed hard to get where they are, and
exactly
they're well represented.
They put themselves in the race.
Yes, they're well represented, and not only are they well represented, but they're highly regarded and respected. Yes, highly regarded and respected in the wrestling community. Right. And like you said, it's across the board. They always get titles. They do.
Think about this. That family has like a 50-year reign, like a 50-year run wrestling.
Nah, it got to be longer than that. It's
maybe even more, maybe 60, 70 years.
It started with Chief High Matavera. It started with him.
What, the 50s?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah.
So a 70-year reign, almost 3/4 of a decade.
And the thing is guys like Roman and those folks are going to have the next 30 years. So you're looking at a 100-year reign.
Yeah,
right. Because Tama ain't slowing down.
No, he's not.
And then their kids,
right?
And then we got the big bad asshole Jacob Fatu just kind of hanging out in the Indies,
just waiting to kill people. Just waiting to kill people. Like, you're a scary person when your nickname is the werewolf. That's not a normal nickname.
Yeah.
A Samoan werewolf. Like, what would make you think that? Like,
I don't know, but it scares the fuck out of me. That's all I know.
Right. He is a mini Umaga, 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Did Dama Kato, did he do the thumb?
The Samoan spike, baby.
The Samoan spike. To end Big E's
reign.
Iron
Spike. It's called the Iron Spike to him.
I saw it and I was like, "Fuck yeah, the spike's back. Let's do this. Because I love that. I love that move. I don't know why. I always got a kick out of it.
Yeah, I was excited to see that.
Doing it too.
Let's see. All right, let's get into Takeover. I thought it was probably the best show last week. Last few months. It was incredible. Yeah. Did y'all see the Zoe Stark Tony Storm match in the pre-show?
Yes.
Zoe?
Yeah.
That was looking good, man.
I'm shocked she won, but yeah, yeah. Also, go ahead, Kenny. How about?
No, because I'm not gonna have nothing positive to say. So you had to do with your positive.
I was just gonna ask because this isn't really all that positive either. Like, what happened to Tony Storm? Like, we went from her feuding with Io for the title for like a few months, and she's now on the pre-show losing to Zoe Stark.
So I can only say what they always say. With a big roster like that, you can't push everyone. The thing is, I would not have had Tony Storm of all people take that L.
She needed a win, or at least just not even be on the card, but she didn't need another loss.
Zoe, but I will say this: I think Zoe's AW and WWE found two very similar wrestlers as far as like an MMA-ish or wrestling background in Zoe Stark and Layla Hirsch.
They need a big card.
That I think will really help them out. But yeah, Tony's very strange.
Zoe real name is Zenard, isn't it? Like Zoe's strong. Zoe's strong, if you know what I mean. Like I had to do a double take to make sure Zoe is Zoe a Zoe? We sure Zoe's strong. Strong.
We know at least one person likes them strong. So,
COVID weight hit Tony like it did Ember. Look at that.
See, but COVID weight hit Tony nice.
Hit Tony right in the right spot. Hit Tony all in the right spot. COVID weight hit Tony right in the
COVID weight hit Tony nice.
Yeah.
COVID weight hit Ember. COVID weight hit Ember, and it was like, oh.
we were doing a mock.
Speaking of werewolves,
we were doing a mock draft the other night. Look, we were doing a mock draft the other night for the next season, and Jackson and me were drafting for Raw because Greg was busy, and Jack took Tony. I said, "Can I just like skip my pick and we pick Tony again, bro?" She's thank you, Lord. Anyway,
yeah, Zoe's good, man. Zoe's I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I don't know. You never know how they're gonna handle people like that, but I think Zoe's got a lot of potential.
I was just more upset that Tony had to eat that loss.
She didn't need to. She really didn't need to.
My thing is with Zoe. Zoe reminds me of somebody they already have there, though. Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, they're both kind of the strong hitting. Yeah, I think she's supposed to be their next Shayna, but I think Mercedes should be the next Shayna.
Oh, 100%.
Mercedes has that look.
She's a bully.
Like
she choked the shit out of this chick.
Yeah. It's fucking horrifying, dude. She whooped whoever she beat the shit out of, and then it was whoever's with Jessica,
Robert,
and then picked up Robert by his neck on the plexiglass and robbed his
give me my money. She straight deboed this man. Like, this was some old bully in the schoolyard, give me your lunch money now type shit. And he had no choice. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Now when she choked Jesse, that was funny because she really choked Jesse. Because all you heard Jesse go, Cause she hit her with the slap choke, like you getting so it caught her off guard. So she's like, it was perfect. It was perfect.
Mark asks, how long is she gonna be around? I mean, she's 40, so I don't know. But also, so is Shayna. So I think Shayna's gonna be around for a long time. I think Mercedes can be a big NXT bully for a few years. I think she should beat Raquel for the belt, but that's a me thing.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to agree with you.
And I think it should happen soon.
Me too.
With like in the next 2 months, I would put it on Mercedes. I'd have her beat Raquel,
and then I would bring Raquel up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Like that, real quick. You can have Dakota kick her ass on the way out, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You only have that on Raquel that long,
right? Give Raquel one bullshit defense on an NXT show, a regular Tuesday show, and then have her lose at the pay-per-view.
Yep. And it's not anything bad about Raquel. She's great, but also she's already ready.
Right. Right. You're 100%. It has nothing to do with her not being able to carry the belt or whatever. She's just ready.
I just don't want them to call her up and Keith Lee her.
I understand. Speaking of Keith Lee actually talked about his absence. I can pull up the tweet.
It didn't say something like he misses us, but
he said he misses us, and that he'll explain the story later. I think is how he said it. I miss you guys as well as all the others that expressed the sentiment, whether in the DMs, tweets, or comments. I miss you all. But do not fret. I will fight like no other to return. And when I do, we've got a lot of ground to cover. #Legion.
To me, that sounds like he's still sick.
Yeah, I think he is legit sick. I know
they said that he got hit bad with COVID,
There is Matty Miz.
Yeah, here I am.
So
I'm alive.
I know he got hit bad with COVID. I'm wondering, like,
there's a lot of COVID long haulers. I think New York's the only place in the country that has a hospital that can take care of them right now. Does that sound accurate? I think so. If I'm not mistaken, but there is like this thing, the COVID long hauler, where like it impacts your like heart,
your lungs
for long term. Like there's people that got COVID like last March that are currently like still have like COVID or have COVID effects.
I think he's still recovering. I think his lungs, he's still trying to gain his wind back. You can't be a wrestler without being able to have your breath. Like you need your breath to live anyway. But the whole part of wrestling is having that stamina.
And him as a wrestler, like his style, he needs it more so, I think, than others.
Yes, Mark, you are 100% correct.
I'm just ready for her to retire so we don't have to eat any more negative sixes.
What'll happen after that? Dana will be the new negative six.
Nah, man, we're not doing that.
Along the tweet, I wanted to just say real quick, side by side, that's what Keith said. Another guy coming back after being gone for just a month. Moose sent this out today. I thank you for the 2 beatings that you gave me because I know somewhere along the line those beatings saved me. And then the other tweet is, hope you miss me as much as I missed you. He looks like he's getting ready to come back. And he also retweeted Samoa Joe wanting to have Joe's first test.
I showed you guys a picture of Moose in the chat the other day. Moose has been in the gym. That dude.
Yep.
Him and Apollo and EC3.
EC3 and Ciampa and Drizzy Drake Maverick.
That motherfucker lost a lot of body fat in the past month.
Yeah.
A lot.
Moose is shredded now.
Yeah.
He looked like he's ready to play in the NFL again. I was like, oh, damn.
He's ready for a title run.
It's coming. So anyway, back to TakeOver.
Season's going to be over by next week.
the first match of the show officially was Pete Dunne and Kushida, which is really good. I thought it was shorter than it's supposed to be. It was like 10 minutes. I kind of wanted more out of that, but good. And I'm surprised Pete won.
I was surprised,
especially after the next week. I'm surprised Pete won.
Yeah, it was kind of weird for Kushida to lose, and then for him to have the week he had after that.
Yeah. We'll get to that when we talk about night 2, but that was really, really strange.
They had some strange booking the entire pay-per-view.
Yeah, but like it's Taker, it's still good. Like it's not anything bad except for one match. There's one match where I'm really confused.
Like it made Pete Dunne's win just seem pointless after all that. Because I was like, all right, Pete Dunne beat him, but
and they didn't show up on NXT.
Right.
Then he cut a promo.
He cut a promo, yeah.
Pete needed a win coming out of the Gargano feud.
Balor.
Yeah, the Balor feud. My bad. I was thinking Gargano and Kushida. And Kushida also needed to continue to build back up after the
and don't put them against each other.
Gargano thing. So why put it right? That's what I was going to say. Why put those two together? Yes, that is a great match, and we enjoyed the match. But
but it's a great match to save for a title match at a different takeover.
You just didn't need it. You didn't need that match right then. Like the story wasn't necessarily.
It was
there.
Quick.
Right, the story wasn't necessarily there. It was just almost like they threw it together because they knew those two would put on a great match. But also, it was between two people that both needed a win.
Right.
Yeah. But again, great match. They're both incredible, and we'll talk about Kushida very soon. The Gauntlet Eliminator match I thought was really fucking good. It wasn't the normal Gauntlet match that they usually do. It was like a battle royal.
Yeah, that was a good concept. Whoever came up with that.
I think we were all shocked by who won that. Bronson Reed won. I think most of us picked Dexter Lumis.
Right, because they had Lumis for the longest stalking Gargano, like
Well,
stalking away. He kidnapped Austin Theory.
Yeah, like,
and then
how is this not Loomis?
I had Loomis and changed it to LA Knight that night.
Yep.
Which
and then
again,
LA Knight,
they went back to back.
Yeah,
they went out back to back, and like I just.
And then it didn't make any sense that he didn't even win the next night.
That was the other interesting part. Like, if you're gonna have, like, I thought whoever won the gauntlet was going to win.
It's like you just made this guy in the gauntlet match. Like, we knew that he was an up and comer. He just beat all these people, and then he loses.
And those are gonna continue the story, maybe?
And then we're still continuing the story of Loomis stalking the way, but now you got Bronson Reed chasing them. So what is going on?
Mark said this, and I didn't think it was going to be Swerve, but during that match, I thought they were going to do that because
once the top two guys went out, you had to know it was going to be a Swerve.
Am I the only person that wanted Cameron Grimes to win?
I wouldn't mind seeing Grimes win.
I would have loved Cameron Grimes to win because I think you can have Cameron be a face against Gargano.
Here's the thing: I did read that. What may be coming, it's not for sure yet, but what may be coming is the $1 Million Man may be working with Cameron Grimes.
I would be okay with that.
I'd enjoy that.
I think I'd love that.
I did see on the Observer though that this was like rated as like one of the worst matches from Takeover as a whole, and I just didn't see that. One, I just didn't think there was a lot of bad matches, but also like
there weren't really.
I didn't really see this one. Like I thought there were some really good spots in this match.
It was just an all over the place match. I wouldn't say it was terrible. It was like the stuff that we thought would happen didn't happen.
I think every battle royal, every gauntlet match, any of that stuff there's a bar you've got to meet. You can't judge them in like other matches. There's a bar you got to meet. Do you jump over that bar? If so, it's great. They had really interesting eliminations. The winner surprised us. And it led to a great match afterwards, which we'll talk about later. And a lot of guys come out of this looking really good. Even Leon Ruff
looking bad.
Yeah. I really think Swerve was the star of the match.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve looked phenomenal in this.
I thought that. Like for especially for like story stuff too, Loomis and LA Knight could have come out of that with some interesting stuff going forward for their stories. And again, I feel like it was the smart move to take out the top two guys pretty much first, because then it left us all sitting around going like it almost made me appreciate the match more too, because I was like I no longer felt like I knew that Loomis was winning or I knew that LA Knight was winning. Like if you had given me a final three of Bronson Reed, LA Knight, and Loomis, I would immediately have been like, all right, well, we know Bronson Reed ain't winning. Right. But instead they eliminate, and normally that's kind of what they do when they want to swerve you, is they put the two people you think are going to win against the guy that's going to win. That's normally the swerve component. This time, like they swerved us immediately off the bat with the first two eliminations being the guys we thought that were going to win.
Yeah, I don't know how you really rated it bad. We already talked about them rating shit before about the
yeah, that's true.
Like this, I really think they have a really anti-WWE bias, but that's a thing. Next up is. I would say this is the match of the week. I can't think of any match that would have beat it, or something that came close. But I love this. Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa.
You mean Death versus Death Jr.?
Yeah.
Because that's
good God. They beat the piss out of each other. I
think it's hard to make it look like Walter gets the piss beat out of him too, and they made it happen.
Walter is great with guys that are smaller than him. And Ciampa's not small, but Ciampa's smaller than Walter.
Most people are.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I hated this was on night one, because I was like, this match is going to have commercials. And it did. And it happened in a really cool spot where Ciampa was trying to clothesline him over and over again. And Walter wouldn't go down, but he kept going back and farther back and farther back. And then chopped Ciampa right across the chest, and it fired Ciampa up, and he finally got him down. That was all during a commercial break. You got the fire up spot in the commercial break. That really pissed me off. But this was there was actually a moment where I thought Ciampa was going to win.
Yeah. Hey, that's nervous over at NWO a little bit.
when he hit that top rope air raid crash, I was like, "Oh fuck, that was a big landing." Okay, and then he hit the fairy tale ending on a chair or near a chair. I was like, "Oh shit!" Didn't do it.
So who beats Walter?
Jesus.
Cross.
Carrying Cross.
You unify the belt.
Unify the belts.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be shocked
Actually, I would say Walter.
If Walter sends Cross to the main roster.
That's possible too. Yeah.
I think depending on how long
I have both of these belts. Fuck this UK belt, and they have a tournament over in the UK.
I would have Bronson Reed beat whoever wins that match.
Okay.
Because right now I don't know who it would be. I would have Bronson Reed. Whoever wins that match in a year, Bronson Reed. Because I don't know who it would be. It's gonna have to. It cannot be a smaller guy to beat either Cross or Walter. I think they have to get beaten by a heavyweight.
Ridge Holland.
If he can stay healthy. But that was a freak accident anyway.
That was a freak accident, man. That's not his fault.
Either Ridge Holland, or if that new kid Parker Boudreaux. If they say who he is,
the next Brock, we'll see. He's confident. He's confident.
That's probably a crazy idea, and it probably wouldn't work because his name is probably too big on the main roster. But I think this is a guy that needs a hard reset. It would be Braun. I think he just needs a hard reset.
But he's like oversized for NXT.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
He's just oversized. Like,
you know what? You never know. Keith Lee might come back.
You don't want anybody making Walter.
That's another one that could
That's
work.
the problem. If Walter is made to look small, it kind of ruins part of his ability and his credibility.
I was thinking, like, in a year though, like you basically swap places for those two. Walter heads to the main roster. Braun heads to take over NXT.
I don't know. I thought Walter was going to lose to Rampage Brown, honestly. Which, by the way, also great fucking match. Rampage, that mother can kick the shit out of the wind. But yeah, Walter and Ciampa. That's my match of the week. I don't know about y'all, but for me, nothing topped it. One match got close, but nothing topped it.
Well, second match of the week for me.
All right. Next up was the tag team match: MSK versus the Grizzled Young Vets versus Legado del Fantasma. I would have been happy.
Match with
I would have been
anybody
happy no matter what. Yeah,
great.
That was a good ass match. For that, like if they had said like beforehand which match would have been a ladder match, I would have expected that to be a ladder match. But
yeah, that did kind of surprise me.
Was great without a ladder.
That was a good ass fucking match. We got champs.
And that was good. And like Legado they're so good. Like they're actually good.
They're legit. They're a legit tag team.
I can't get it. I hate MSK's names. I do. I hate them. Wesley and Nash Carter. It's just awful. They're just it's the same thing with LA Knight. I hate their names.
Lame ass
terrible. They're just terrible names. But like, yeah, no, I agree with you guys. That match, it was so good. Because I really thought there was a point in that match, and we've talked about it before. They're really good at false finishes. There was a point in that match where I thought every one of those teams was going to win.
Right.
And there was a point in that match where I would not have mind seeing any of those three teams win.
I knew at the last sequence, I say two sequences, I just knew Grizzly Young Vets was going to win. Then then the Legado came in. I was like, oh, there's the
Legado. I'm really surprised the Grizzly Young Vets didn't win. Because they've been this close so many times. They cannot
They are the new Birch and Oni.
They are.
Part of me wonders if they're going to do something similar to what they did for Bianca, where they never really get the NXT title, but they go win it at the main roster.
All I know is that's a team I don't want to break up ever.
Right.
I think Gibbs can do well on his own, but I think that is one of the best tag teams you're going to find. And the feat we're about to get out of these three teams is going to be great. But
Man,
I think that's really got to win at some point.
If MSK beats who's challenging them next, I think Grizzled Young Vets is going to kicking their ass again. It's going to kicking their ass. If they can survive Team Dad.
Right, because that crazy tooth smiling motherfucker.
Because Team Dad is deaf.
Ciampa and damn it, what's that crazy Thatcher? Sheesh.
No.
Sheesh.
That's I'm surprised Thatcher's still with it because I thought we were getting that heel turn. And we didn't. But yeah, really great match. That's the kind of triple threat tag match that I like. I don't like when you can like tag in a random person and like I steal it from you. When you have the three guys in the ring, and they can like that's the kind of I wish the main roster did that. I really do. It's a little bit less chaotic. It's easier to keep up with, and it makes you think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
Because whenever they do that match, you always know, okay, someone's going to steal it right here.
Now.
There it is. Main event of the first night was Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai. And Io Shirai has finally lost the Women's Championship.
Hello, main roster.
Hello, tag team with Asuka. Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought we were
Hello, Kabuki Warriors too.
My bad. I thought we were rhyming.
What did they do? You saw that video too, Justin, on Facebook? With Asuka dancing in the cup noodle suit.
Do what?
There's a video of Asuka dancing. They have her dressed up like a cup of noodles.
No.
It's like a promo video. It's on Facebook.
Bro, I'm done. Nope, not watching that.
Because I saw it, I was like, this is so racist. Yeah, the anime experience.
That's Greg's favorite. Anyway,
what? So, how'd y'all?
That die finally backfired.
What'd y'all think of this match?
That die finally backfired on Yo.
Good.
It was good.
It wasn't bad. I have probably the unpopular opinion of everybody here because I didn't think it was that great of a match.
Was it good?
It was good.
It was a good match. It served its purpose.
It was
but not the problem is that it wasn't going to follow Walter Ciampa.
Yeah, that was and maybe that's my issue with it. I just thought it was kind of a I wasn't super interested by the end. It was good.
It was just like, okay, we know Raquel was winning.
Maybe that was it too. It felt scripted, like it felt mailed in. I don't know.
Plus, it came up. It followed Walter Ciampa, then it followed MSK winning their belt too. Like we were tired.
Yeah, I was exhausted.
Those are two of the best matches of the week.
Right. We're sitting there. By the time those two matches were over, we were like, "Whoo, my heart can't take this no more." And then
maybe that leads the night, and I don't have the same feeling about the match, but because it was the main event, and it came after two of probably my favorite matches of the week. It wasn't that good for me. It was good, but not great.
What do you guys think will be the Viking Raiders' return? Viking Raiders they might win the belts, they might not. The main roster's ruined the Viking Raiders. That's all it is.
Yeah,
at least the New Day. The New Day has another tag team to fight now. Because before before they switched rosters, it was just Street Profits and Vikings, and then one of them got hurt, and it was just the Street Profits.
I can't believe the WWE is this bad with tag teams. It really is.
I feel like they've just officially gave up with on that division, and it's just Profits. If you're not the Profits, Usos, or New Day, They don't give a shit.
Well, they give a shit for like 3 months when they put a makeshift tag team together.
Right.
Like again,
the Dirty Dogs.
Look, AJ's great, and I wanted him to have a match at Mania. It was cool to get to see almost get his shot, but like, I don't know, man. Again, it's just another tag title team.
We didn't get the Mania yet. We didn't get the Mania.
I know.
We'll get to it.
I'm just throwing out the tag team situation though. Is right now it's just not great. I mean,
that's why I agree with Kenny. After years of not agreeing with them, we should unify the divisions.
They do. They really need to.
One title belt.
Let them travel like women.
It would make it, but the problem is then they would only have a tag match or two at most a week. Like they have the teams to make a really good tag division, and they just choose not to, and it really just pisses me off.
No, what you can do is each week you can have at least 2 tag matches per show each week.
Well, you can. They won't.
Let
That's
those
the thing.
You can let those 2 tag matches mean something. You win this match, and you win this match, and the winner of those 2 matches face each other next week, and then the winner from that match faces the 2 from the other ones, and then you get a number 1 contender. It's a little bracket. You get the east side and the west side with your bracket. That's all. You could. I
think it was just to get him close to me. Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, that makes him a Grand Slam champion, which is good for AJ. AJ, I really can't believe they went all in on AJ Styles. Like I think we were all worried when he first came in that he was going to be underutilized, and they made him a fucking Grand Slam champion.
Right.
You know what it is? I think they're trying to make up for the fact that they cut him the first time, and he went on to be AJ,
one of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest of all time.
So
he probably needed it. He probably was, because he said, because the whole story is he started out in WCW. WCW shut down like a month into him being there. So then he was like, well, I'm just going to be wrestling anywhere. He tried out for WWE. He was still training. Like he was just fresh out of training in WCW when they shut down. So he was still fresh in WWE. So they were like, well, you're good, but we really don't know like how good you could actually be. And then he went to TNA. So it's just like, well, TNA
AJ's
was
part
great for him.
AJ's part of that class of like 5 or 6 guys that should have come out of that TNA zone and just like taken over the wrestling world. And so far, the only one that really did that was AJ. Like Bobby Roode should have done it. Christopher Daniels should have done it.
Joe.
James Storm should have done it. And Samoa Joe should have done it. But the one that really had the top tier success wherever he went was AJ Styles. So we'll go to night 2. Night 2, the pre-show match was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick beating Breezango to be the number 1 contenders. And then we'll get. So let's start this now real quick. On NXT, we had
Imperium beat the shit out of them.
Imperium beat them up after they lost the match to MSK. MSK got booed by the fans.
And I'm still confused on that. Why are they booing? Do they just love that little crappy tag team that much?
I guess. I like Drake and Dane as much as the next guy, but come on, man. Really?
I think Dane's involved in something else. I still think that
I do too.
What we talked about the other night is that Dane might be getting involved with the Bray Alexa Bliss stuff. I think that's the direction to go with Dane in. I don't know, man.
I really thought he was going to join the Imperium, honestly. And then Imperium just beat the shit out of him.
They'd have to shave him too much. I don't think they want to deal with that.
So yeah, I don't know what that was. I think it was just because those NXT fans can kind of get a little Chicago-ish as far as like, yeah, we're going to boo the face. We're going to do like I think that's kind of
take over. Yeah.
But I don't get it because MSK, I think, is that's a tag team you guys don't want to be booing. Don't take MSK for granted ever. Impact did, and now they're gone. That's what happens. WWE saw that and was like, oh, they're tag champs immediately. We're gonna bring them in. Dusty Cup, tag champs done. The way Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin in the ladder match, which is really good.
Good match.
Not
surprised ending who I thought was going to win.
Yeah. I like the ending. Because Devin was leaving. I like the ending.
Right.
It was weird because so Santos gets Legado to come out and help him out a little bit. But then at the end of the match, when Santos wins, his son comes out and he puts the mask on his head, and it's this nice endearing moment. And
I'm like a face moment.
Yeah. And then the next week he's still a dick. And it's just like, what the fuck?
And he loses. And he loses. It's like you had the man bring his son out to lose.
And he loses it to Kushida. The next NXT, he loses it to Kushida. What the fuck?
Kushida just lost to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
It just makes. I don't know if it makes.
You know what it is? I know what it is. I think Kushida's contract might be coming up, and they don't want him leaving.
I mean, look,
so they were like, here.
They can do better. They can do better. They can do better with Kushida. Clearly, fans want him to do better, to do well. They can do better. They can do better with Kushida. Santos,
the new attitude that he had made it better.
Oh yeah, no. Ever since he came back, he's done great. He needed that change because before that, he was boring. You said 1 week in the summer, I think you said, you know what, he's not really that exciting, and I disagree with you, but you're right.
This is a great fucking show. I've heard that so many fucking times out of you.
Don't worry about it, Kenny, because you're going to be wrong later on. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, I'll
be not wrong.
You and Justin.
Before that happens.
It was a good match, man. It was a good match, man. It's just that was kind of weird, but Santos, I don't know. That was odd. Just him winning that and then losing it the next to NXT was so strange. He's TJ Perkins. Kushida? Maybe. Then we had Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart beat the way. That's the match that. Why?
It was bad.
Why? It wasn't good. And
Shotzi tries to kill herself like 30 times in a match.
Anytime you're in a match and Candice is the superstar of the match.
Yeah.
Candice carried the entire match.
Bro, Shotzi was trying to kill herself.
Shotzi was trying to kill herself. Ember just didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Ember tried to kill herself too.
And Indy was the crash test dummy for them.
Yeah, I said back when we were doing the tournament that I thought the Way should have gone to the finals over Shotzi and Ember, and I still think that. I still think they're the better team.
Absolutely,
Ember and Shotzi, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Ember sucks, Mongo. Say it. Ember sucks. Say it. Say it.
Ember is not as good as I thought she was.
No, bitch. Say it. Say it, bitch.
Ember.
Say it, bitch.
Is not.
Say
great.
it, bitch.
She's not great.
Listen, I'll say this right here. You were right. Edge didn't win the title. Say it, bitch. Ember sucks.
Ember has some work to do. Shotzi.
Say it, bitch. Say it, bitch, before I let the world know you're still a virgin. Say it, bitch.
Anyway, Shotzi. I remember when she came out of that Evolve show, and she had a lot of upside. And then she was a singles person, a lot of upside. But she has not gotten any better since then.
I'm tired. You know what it is?
She's got more
character. She's a character who's reckless. Like, I like Shotzi because she's a character. Don't get me wrong. I like that. Because in wrestling, you don't need everybody being a technical superstar and a technical master and this. You need characters in wrestling. That's what keeps it sports entertainment, and that's what keeps your fans going. Having characters. I like Shotzi as a character. As an actual competitor, no. She's gonna get hurt. She's gonna hurt somebody. But as a character, yes, and the thing about it is that's something that I think overall in wrestling needs to be worked on across the board with every promotion. Work on character development. We have enough of the Bret Harts. as far as like Daniel Bryan being a technical wrestler. You know, the reason why Roman is succeeding so well right now is he is a character. Yeah. That's why a main event with Roman is going to beat a main event with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is not a character. You got to start making more characters. If you get more, that's what made wrestling popular to begin with. Characters. When I was younger, I didn't know anything about the guys. I knew Junkyard Dog. He was a character. I knew Jimmy Snooker. He was a character. Roddy Piper, a character. I knew the characters. Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter, a character. Now, I'm not saying go back to wrestling. I'm not saying go back to the days, because that could go into the argument with the Attitude Era being a better era and stuff like that. I'm not saying going back to the days where everything was character and promo and there was absolutely no wrestling, but you have guys who actually have talent who actually can talk on the mic. Let them get a character and work on it.
Well, now should be the best time for that, though, Kenny. Like, go back to what was popular with the Attitude Era. Take the best part of the Attitude Era, which was the characters, and blend it with what now is the best wrestling we've ever seen.
Like, I like Seth right now. He's a character. The Messiah is a character.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Messiah is a character. And guess what? He can also fucking wrestle his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
He's always been able to do that. I mean, he hadn't always had the character to go with it.
You know what I mean? Like, Roman right now, this heel guy is a character. And guess what? It's working.
Yeah.
It's okay to let guys who can actually wrestle be a character. Right. There are some guys who don't have the personality for it. That's known. That's why the importance of managers comes back into play for wrestling as well. Certain things have to kind of go back to the way it was, so that way you can build certain people up. We need more managers. That's a guaranteed fact. Yeah. Because as much as we love Cesaro really does not have a personality.
They're trying, but hey, look at how many times I can spin isn't really a great.
My whole thing is, why did they have him come out in that oversized suit on Friday, looking like he was trying to go in front of the judge to see the DEA? Like, what the hell was that about? Like, but he's you got it. Certain people need managers. He's one of them. Give him a manager. So certain characters, certain people need managers, and certain people actually don't need a manager. They can talk themselves. Do that.
Yeah. All right. Getting back on track. We had Johnny Gargano beating Bronson Reed. Great match.
Wrong winner.
Wrong winner. If the Way loses, Johnny should have lost. Because I think, the Way should have won and Johnny should have won. But since the Way lost, Johnny should have lost. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. But again, great match. It's just, Bronson looks good in this, but also he lost clean to Johnny.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And I don't know, man. It was some questionable booking this show. But then comes up my favorite match of the night and another one of my favorites in the week: Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. Karrion Kross won. Karrion Kross won the NXT championship.
I'm surprised.
That hurt to see Finn die like that.
I wasn't surprised.
I was.
Unfortunately.
He was keeping up with him. Finn died like a G.
Like Kross, as we've stated many times before, he's a juggernaut. And he's going to be extremely difficult to beat. It's going to have to take another juggernaut to defeat him. Mm-hmm. And based on the juggernaut who has been on NXT recently, the UK champion Walter, it looks like we are headed towards a collision of epic proportion. Undefeated champion against undefeated champion.
Karrion
Cross
posted something on Instagram. Are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. He posted a picture on Instagram, and it wasn't of himself. It was of John Cena with the WWE World title at the time and the Big Gold belt. Back when they were parading around both belts for a while. And it's interesting, and I'm so shocked that a lot of people on that particular post had missed out on that. You heard one of the comments was saying, oh, well, Cross versus Cena. We can't wait to see that. Hope we get it. Another comment was, oh, he must be going Gargano. Like, guys, you're really not paying attention. First of all, we had that last year when we had a double champion with Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to tie the mid-card title with the main title. They're not going to do that again. Also, Walter is the only undefeated champion. He hasn't lost since being signed to WWE. He's in the middle of
aside from the main roster, but that we don't count that.
Yeah.
We don't count Survivor Series.
Yeah, that bullshit. Yeah. As far as like his main duty as UK champion, he has not lost.
Right.
And we see this collision course coming. Like I said, in order to beat someone like Cross, you need another Titan-like figure. And I don't know when we're going to get it, but I cannot wait.
Unpopular opinion, I don't want the match.
You're not really a big Cross fan, right?
It's not so much that I'm not a big Cross fan. It's just, like I said before, it leads into the whole who beats Walter after that. I'm kind of tired of seeing juggernauts as champions. I want to see. I don't want to say beatable champions. I don't want to say beatable champions, but I want to see champions who at least appear like they could be beatable. They don't have to necessarily be beatable, but I guess give me the illusion. You know what? I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want. For NXT, I want a fucking heel champion.
Right.
That's exactly what I want. I want a heel champion. I want somebody that's going to cheat their way to win. Cheat their way to keep. I want somebody to do what Johnny Gargano was doing with the North American title.
Well, didn't Adam Cole do that a lot?
Yes.
It was like 50-50.
It was like 50-50.
It was like 50-50.
It's like 50-50.
Here's my thing about
with Adam Cole, it wasn't necessarily like with Adam Cole. Once in a blue, UE would actually touch somebody. More than likely, they would just cause a distraction. You know what I mean? I want a legit cheater. I want a cheater.
I'm trying to think. The last time we had it might be Bo Dallas. Was the last Dallas legit? Like even Owens, he just beat the shit out of you. Joe beat the shit out of you. Bobby Roode, he just out wrestled you. Bobby Roode would focus on a weakness. He would go for your knee or something, but he wouldn't cheat. He just do dick shit. He wouldn't cheat on it. He wouldn't cheat at all. Almost like Selena would kind of get involved a little bit, but he'd still beat you essentially.
Selena was a good cheat because she hit you with a Hurricane Rana into the steps.
But also wasn't every match.
But yeah, it was not every match. But yeah, I want a good cheater.
All right, so here's that question then.
Cameron Grimes
as world champion. Cameron Grimes, NXT champion.
Mm-hmm.
You would have him beat Karrion Kross, or would you have him beat the guy that beats Karrion Kross?
Karrion Kross.
Yeah, I'd have him beat Kross.
I'd have him beat Kross. I'd have him cheat like a motherfucker and beat Kross.
Especially since Kross is at the moment a face, I would say, or at least a tweener.
I don't even think I think he's just a tweener. I think he's whatever the story deems him to be.
I have him hit Kross with something, make Kross go down, put his feet on the ropes, and win.
or he can pay somebody to come in and help him. Whatever. I mean, if they continue that storyline,
Right, since he has money.
Right. If $1 Million Man comes in, I mean, you could see that happening. Have $1 Million Man mentor him, help him out a little bit, let him, start doing that a little bit more often. You start to see that build towards it, and then once he gets a chance at Cross, you get somebody. I don't know who it is. Maybe it is. I mean, you guys mentioned Parker Boudreaux earlier, and a couple of the big guys. Maybe he pays those guys to come run in and take care of it.
If not Cameron Grimes, I want to see Swerve cheat.
I think one of those, either Swerve or Grimes, will do it. I don't think they're going to beat Cross for it though, because I think Cross is going to lose it to Kyle O'Reilly.
Mm.
Okay.
I think Kyle O'Reilly gets it for about 2 months. Cross got like a good 6-month reign. Kyle O'Reilly wins for 2 months, and then he gets duped. He gets swerved, either Grimes or Swerve.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it, but
especially since he won the main event, which was 40 minutes long. Did y'all think that main event was too long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been cut by a good 10, maybe even 15. It could have been cut, I think.
Yeah, it was spots where I kind of lost focus. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Like it was some spots where it was kind of dragging along.
The funny shit was the after footage of them being rolled into the goddamn hospital. And Adam Cole is talking shit, and KOR just looking at him like, shut the fuck up. But the funniest part about that is William Regal walking behind both of them, shaking his head like a disappointed father, like these two motherfuckers right here still ain't gonna fucking stop. They almost died. But that was the funniest part. But other than that, it was what we expected it to be. We expected them to kill each other. Like, did we
I like the chain spot. I like the chain around the leg for O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Those kicks. It was. I really wish it wasn't 40 minutes because I'd like. And I heard people talk about. I heard Mark Henry talk about how people shouldn't talk about how much time it was if it was a good match. There are good matches that are 40 minutes. There are good matches that are hours long. That's because they needed to be an hour long. This just didn't need to be this long.
Right. Especially not for the purpose that it was supposed to be. These are supposed to be two people that want to just beat the hell out of each other. A normal street fight beating the hell out of somebody ain't 40 minutes. These two people are going to beat the shit out of each other for about a good 10, 15 minutes. Either somebody going to be really fucked up or they're going to be looking at each other in the corner like how they, like, I don't want to fight no more. Me neither. All right, that's it. This should have been a quick, fast, beat up brawl. That's what it should have been. This should have been a fight.
Right.
This should have been a fight.
Unfortunately, we've talked about this in the past. Sometimes NXT, they tend to overdo it. This was one of those moments. We did not need a 40-minute unsanctioned beatdown.
A 40-minute unsanctioned with a ref beatdown.
Yeah, we didn't need that. 25, 30 minutes tops would have been good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
WWE
need blood a lot anymore, but like that match, you could have used some blood.
Yeah.
You could have used some blood.
Especially if you're filming the show is live on your own network with Peacock. Why not have some blood?
Yeah, this is exclusively on Peacock at this point. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You don't need to be bleeding like Cody or Dusty, like the Rose Clan, but
Peacock ain't hearing that. You see what they did with the screen when Dana Nip came out, right? Screen
right.
black.
Look, they blacked out Stone Cold's whole hand when he does the finger nap.
Yeah.
So it's that censorship is getting a little ridiculous. I get the Roddy Piper thing. I get all that.
Shoot,
like,
no
Xbox, I
review.
get it. You're blocking out the finger.
The screen would have fucking went. You know how when you watch old matches, like from the Attitude Era, they start bleeding and they turn the screen black and white. I wouldn't have been shocked if the screen would have turned black and white live if one of them started bleeding during that street fight.
Yeah.
Do you see how quick they did? You see how quick they covered up when Sasha got slashed open from that head whip?
Yep.
You put your hand there immediately, girl. Time for a pin. Now. Get your ass off the ring.
Overall, though, so I think Night 1 was better than Night 2, but I think overall it was a really good takeover event. What about y'all?
Overall, it was an A.
Yeah.
Like, the gripes we have are like whether they won or whether they lost. That could have been a little shorter. But most of these matches are really, really entertaining.
Yeah. I give it a solid A. Yeah, A. No, B plus. I'm gonna be honest, B plus. Solid B plus.
If it was just the first night, I would rank it higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first night was better than the second night.
First night had a better women's match, had a better tag match, had better championship matches. I just thought that was better.
They're going to have to do something. A side note, they're going to do something with them, both of these women's titles. There's no reason.
You cannot have especially not if you only have like 3 teams.
Like the NXT women don't need a tag title. Like they only have 2 teams.
That should have been another singles mid card. That should have been mid card belt.
They didn't even need to come out. I don't even think they even need
a belt.
They even did. I'm with Mongo. They didn't even need another belt.
Have Raquel and Kai just challenge again and win. Because Shayna and Nia don't need those belts. They just don't need them. They're not doing anything. Just get them off. Do something else.
The only reason why you need a mid card belt is for who we talked about earlier, Toni Storm. Keep her interested. You keep her character interesting. And like with any mid card belt, it's a direct path to the main belt.
Give Tony the tag title with another good competitor.
Yeah. There are people that can work with her. All right, so WrestleMania. First night was a big rain delay.
35, 45 minutes. Nobody go outside for 35, 45 minutes.
That shit was funny because I was late trying to get back to watch WrestleMania, and Kenny tells me, "Oh, you ain't missing nothing. It's a rain delay." I was, what?
That shit.
45 minutes.
We've been doing WrestleMania for what, 40, 30 something years. As soon as y'all start put that shit back in the damn in an arena.
I saw something on Twitter that was like
back in an arena.
Vince put Hogan out on with the Titus. He pissed off the community and God.
That tells you something. God is black. God is black.
I want that to be the defining argument. Hey, no, God's black.
God is not a Hulkamaniac.
God's not a Hulkamaniac.
God didn't say his prayers. God didn't say his prayers.
No.
Take your vitamins and say your prayers. Don't listen to that man.
God
people was doing Hogan. They was fucking Hogan up all that whole week because there was somebody on Twitter when the NWO went into the Hall of Fame. Somebody was like, "Yeah, congratulations to the NWO, but not that other, not Terry. We don't care about him." Like they put a blur over Hulk Hogan. They were like, "Congratulations to these other 3 guys, but not him."
But that's funny. I mean. First of all, it's sad when they had to use Titus as pretty much Hogan's hype man to get the crowd into him. Because the crowd was straight booing his ass.
Everybody, it amazes me that like Hulk Hogan's the only person who still believes the bullshit that he says. He's the only person that believes his own bullshit. He acts like that shit didn't happen. Like, bro, we heard you. We know how you are. I don't care if it was an accident. You said that. You've been saying that shit. We don't forget. Wrestling fans don't forget shit.
And the bullshit is, it's not even like he's in his home state, and they still booed his ass.
He's in his city. It's like he's oh yeah, my main man Titus. I'm like, Titus don't fucking fuck with you.
Titus hates your ass.
Right.
Titus came out after your apology. He just said, nah, nope, no sir. Him and New Day. They were the ones that were like, that's not an apology.
Titus is about that check.
Even Seth Rollins is like, I mean, Hogan comes around, but I don't be up in his face no more. He's like, I'm not 10. I don't give a shit about this. He's like, I don't care about him. Because Hogan was trying to say, well, they don't be trying to show me respect.
You don't earn the respect. You lost respect.
Right.
You lost your respect.
And he comes out there, oh, brother. Okay, first of all, you don't remember nobody's fucking names. So that's why you call everybody fucking brother.
Nigga, motherfucker don't even remember what city he in half of the time. Okay? First of all,
like, we don't care about...
I saw a meme that had Ric Flair. It was like 4 different pictures of Ric Flair. And it was like one with Migos, with some other with Snoop, like with some Nikes on, and it said, "See, Hulk, this could have been you, but you fucked up."
Yeah.
Talking about how Rick was hanging out with all the black people, chilling with all the black people, and they were like, "See, Hulk, this could have been you, but you fucked up."
Well, it's just
Randy Orton had the greatest comeback of them all. Randy was almost in that territory, and he completely did a 180. Man, taking pictures with Migos. Remember when everybody got mad? People trying to get Randy in trouble because he said the N-word while he was playing the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, nope, that's different. We were all like, nope, that's different. Randy's cool.
We're like, right. We was like, Randy at the barbecue already. He good.
Right. Like, Randy got a good kill. He got a good kill.
Yeah.
He said it.
The thing is, man, like Hulk, it was straight up fucking hate. It was just like legit. There's no hiding the fuck that was about. Like, God.
All right, let's keep going. We can stay here and go on racist man.
Yeah, rain delay, and then the show opened with Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, the almighty.
What the fuck was that?
Big Lash he tapped his ass out.
Everybody out. Fuck creative for that bullshit.
What the fuck?
How did Drew not win that? I'm happy Lashley has a belt. How did that ending happen?
Drew passing out?
Especially after he didn't carry that whole brand for a year.
Like I feel like if you're having the fans, you got to give Drew that win, don't you?
Right.
Like you're gonna
gave him the WrestleMania moment when it wasn't a damn crowd, and then y'all let him carry the brand because during this time Roman was gone. Roman didn't show back up until what? July,
August.
Yeah. So y'all had Drew lose the title once to Randy for a pointless title reign, win it back, just to lose it to the Miz off of some bullshit. And when the man does get it, didn't even have him fight or anything to get a title to get a rematch. He just got a rematch. Remember, you're technically not supposed to get rematches anymore. They didn't make him jump through no hoops. They just said, "Oh, WrestleMania, Lashley, Drew." And
they didn't he fought Sheamus and Fastlane. They didn't say the winner of this fights Lashley. They could have, and they just didn't do it.
They just said, "Oh, okay, you're going to WrestleMania to fight Lashley."
And what I really hated about this was how they neutered Bobby at the end of this feud. Because up until this point, Bobby has been booked stronger than anybody else in the company, aside from Roman. Ever since he lost to McIntyre, he has not lost a match. He has not been pinned or submitted.
Right.
Like when he lost the U.S. Championship, he was out of the ring. He didn't get pinned. But then when this happened, he kicks the Hurt Business out and then begs all of the losers in the locker room to take out Drew for him.
And then puts Drew to sleep. What did you need help to put somebody out if you just did it? Why'd you need people to soften him up?
Why don't we just have Bobby and Drew be badasses up until Mania and then have that? Like, why did Bobby have to be a bitch the last 2 weeks? What happened? Who wrote that? Why do you have this big character change when people are already into Bobby doing what he did best? Then he becomes a coward, and then at Mania, forget all that. That didn't happen. Bobby's just gonna beat his ass.
Or why not? If they wanted Drew to lose, why not just fucking have okay, the Miz won. Just have him lose, have Miz or some bullshit. Just have Lashley win at WrestleMania.
They set themselves up for failure when they had that match go first. Open the damn show. That is the perfect spot for a pop like that. And then you have Drew lose in that spot?
Drew kept saying, because all throughout during when the pandemic was in full effect, Drew kept saying, well, I want to be the first person that walks out when we have fans back. He technically got that.
He did.
He got that. What happened? That was it.
This was Drew's punishment for catching COVID.
Probably. Because Vince is being weird about COVID. He has to, maybe you're right.
This is they couldn't take the belt right off of Drew because remember Drew caught COVID right in the middle of him having his title run, so they couldn't just take it right off.
He got sick, and then Andrade, I think Andrade got suspended.
So this was Drew's shut the fuck up. You shouldn't have got sick.
Yeah, so I wish it didn't come at the expense of the Hurt Business. Like people are saying, I don't want to see Bobby win this just to lose it again. Like, yeah, but
I think that's what it seems like they knew that we're like, oh man, they're gonna just basically make Bobby a super transitional champion, and they knew we all knew he was gonna lose, and they're like, you know what? Nope. We're going to actually show you that we're behind Bobby. Like, we're not going to waste this whole year, that whole build up to him winning the championship for him to lose it in his second title defense.
But then they broke up the Hurt Business, which was there was still the why is the Hurt Business not tag champs? Why?
The bad part about that is supposedly Vince is already done with them two as a tag team. He's done he doesn't see nothing in them
tag teams.
He doesn't see anything in Cedric. He doesn't see anything in Cedric and Sheldon anymore, which is why we saw them get absolutely squashed.
How you don't see anything in Cedric or Shelton Benjamin is I don't understand.
2 months ago they were Raw Tag Champions. That's crazy. 3 months ago they were Raw Tag Champions. Now they're getting squashed on Raw by the Viking Raiders.
That's ridiculous.
They were just a top tag team.
I don't understand.
Think about how far they fell. They could have been walking to the ring with Lashley. They were in the fucking Andre the Giant Battle Royal on WrestleMania SmackDown.
But then they also have Lashley retain, and it's just weird to I guess if your story was going to be that Lashley was going to lose at Mania, but then they put Lashley with T-Bag and Mace. Right?
Yeah. You broke up the loser group to give Lashley two guys that have been losing nonstop, replacing Cedric and Shelton, who have been on a fucking roll since joining the group. I don't get the booking.
The only thing, let me be devil's advocate. I'll be devil's advocate. And we kind of, Mongo, you and I, we kind of talked about this a couple of days ago on a post that I made. MVP has been making moves.
Yeah.
He's been making calculated moves for the past year. Hence, the beginning of the Hurt Business. So, when you look at his deal that he struck with Retribution, it's like, okay, because the main focus now is MVP, Lashley, and now, for once, you put Retribution in somewhat of an important angle. So, to be devil's advocate, it's MVP continuing to be calculated, and I like it.
I just hate that it came at the
I fell flat on its face.
I hate it, but
I just hate it came at the expense of Shelton and Cedric. That's the bad part. Like, if you were going to continue to push them as a tag team outside of the Hurt Business somehow, that would be one thing. But, like, we talk about this all the time. They build these, like, makeshift tag teams up. They get them to go win the titles. And then immediately they like to break them up. Like,
except for the bar.
Except for the bar. But, like, this is another example of where, like, the plan worked. Like, they put these two random people together and it actually worked. They had great chemistry. They worked well together. It makes sense. And then they break them up. The minute they start
with Retribution, they're not a tag team. Like, there's no tag team within Retribution. Right. So because Vince he hates tag teams, you don't have to worry about that. You can just have MVP hire these group of dudes to just beat the motherfucker up for them.
I feel like I was listening to a podcast and they said this theory of what they think it could be with them helping out Lashley is this could be a way for us to get rid of their gimmick. If they show up tomorrow night and he's no longer T-Bar, he's Dominic Dijakovic again, and he has on a suit, they're dressed like if him and Dio Matter show up tomorrow night in suits and all that, or they show up in their Retribution stuff, they have a promo and they take that stuff off saying, I'm not such and such, I'm a part of the Hurt Business, because they don't look right standing next to two men in suits.
Nah.
They're going to look stupid.
They're going to come out in suits and masks.
Yeah. They better not. That is so like a WWE 2K game. That is like WWE 12.
Wrestling suits.
Coming out wearing suits, having a mask. The only person should have a mask on wearing a suit is freaking Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, shit, Kenny. You ain't shit.
I mean, I know what it is.
So yeah, that was. Well, man, Bobby and Drew are always good together, but it was the booking for that whole storyline kind of sucked. Natty Tamina won the Battle Royal. Who cares? Cesaro.
Unfucking believable. The crowd went ape shit for them too.
It's for Tamina, I think. It's for Tamina. People just like Tamina. People genuinely like Tamina.
Tamina's great.
Like, people like the daughter of Superfly. You know, they like Tamina. They want to see Tamina get one big one before she retires. I get it. I would like to see her win the belt.
She's hurt so much over her career, and she's been there for so long. It's just like we want to see she's good.
Remember when she fought Bailey and people were like, this is actually kind of interesting. Remember that?
Yeah.
People were like, maybe Tamina can do it. That'd be kind of fun. And then they didn't do it. I want to see him get the tag titles. Why not? Who cares?
Yeah.
Give her one belt. I think she deserves it.
Again, another situation where you have a competitor or a team win a gauntlet and then they lose.
Yeah, that was an ongoing thing for WWE that week, huh?
That was me paying creative. That was just me paying creative on that one.
Cesaro beat Seth Rollins in a pretty good match.
That UFO.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a chance to see the UFO.
The UFO.
Unidentified flying opponent.
Yeah.
That is what Cesaro calls the spin that he does on his shoulders with no hands that they repeated 18 damn times on SmackDown Friday.
Yeah, if they find anything that people like, they're going to run it into the fucking ground.
I love that moment for Cesaro, though. That was a great story that they told. That man finally got his singles match at Mania, and he beat Seth freaking Rollins.
He beat the new Mr. WrestleMania.
And that's a great story. Yeah. It's a great story. And it leads into like this Roman. That's going to be fun. But again, like Kenny said, God, I wish you had a mouthpiece. Really wish you had a guy for the mic.
Because when he challenged Roman next, that was dope. But
you can't keep up with Roman's character work. You just You're someone that doesn't talk at all. Going up against Roman is tough. It's already tough if you can talk. If you can't, that's a bitch. That is a bitch of a story you have to do.
And it's a battle. This is the first battle for Roman in which he has Paul Heyman right there. Paul has 2 Paul Heyman guys fighting against each other. Because remember when Paul used to be with Cesaro?
Yep, and it's interesting, and we'll get a lot of good Talking Smack segments out of it. Probably not SmackDown, but Talking Smack.
Right.
AJ Styles almost beat the New Day to be tag champs.
Yeah. It was expected. I feel like they just did that so they could say that AJ is a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
Just like when Roman and Seth were just collecting the titles, mid-card titles, just so they could say, oh, they're Grand Slams.
Let's see. Braun beat Shane.
I'm surprised he didn't throw his ass off the cage into the ground. And Shane rolled away going, ha ha.
That was the ending I was hoping would happen.
I thought that's what was going to happen when he ripped the cage open and then I thought that he was going to accidentally push him out on accident and that Shane was going to win.
That whole match was stupid. They were like, well, Braun did this for anybody that's been called stupid.
And didn't Braun didn't he get a black eye from this match?
Yo, he got fucked up.
Did Shane punch him dead square in his eye?
I wouldn't be surprised if that was. Remember, Elias and Riker came up there, tried to interfere. I wouldn't be shocked if one of them accidentally popped him.
I ain't gonna make that joke.
We'll probably Riker.
I was gonna say Riker.
Probably Riker.
Riker really thought he was in Washington D.C. back
right. Riker had a flashback.
That man thought he was at the Capitol,
and he saw that cage. He saw that cage and had a flashback. I'm not going back.
Good old man.
That sounds about right. I can't. But speaking of Riker, I can't believe he's still on television and Wesley Blake got cut.
And the rest of them got cut too.
Right, the rest of the forgotten ass got cut, and the motherfucker that did the damage is still chilling. I don't get that.
I think part of it, Kenny, is they don't want to make it look like he got fired for his political beliefs.
Right.
Which is yep. But I think that if we're being honest, I think that's why they haven't fired him yet, and they're firing the other 2 first. I think they'll eventually fire him too, but I think
that shit's Elias is saving his life right now. Once that gimmick wears off, he's gonna be gone because Elias really doesn't need anybody rolling with him. Elias is perfect by himself.
Elias is another one they've dropped the ball with, in my opinion. But
I wouldn't be shocked if he gets fired. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets fired next.
He might be gone next. And if they lose Elias, that is a moneymaker.
Yeah, Elias is good. Solid in the ring. He can talk.
That's someone you can turn around into somebody in the big champion. Next up was so here's the match that surprised the fuck out of every single one of us. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Yeah, because that boy know how to wrestle.
That man really did his best.
Yeah.
To train his ass up.
Boy did a bunny destroyer, a Canadian destroyer. That man got finishers.
I'm going on record right now saying this. As of right now, Bad Bunny is the greatest celebrity wrestler that WWE has ever had.
Yeah, he is.
So would you say he's the best celebrity wrestler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like WCW, anything.
I would put him after that David Arquette, because David Arquette has actually tried to wrestle now.
I would put Pat McAfee up there.
It's hard for McAfee, man, because McAfee has been training for wrestling for like a decade.
And then
he's still a celebrity.
He is, but Bad Bunny just started training in January for this.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fantastic. I'm not, but Pat to me is up there top 2. It's him and Bad Bunny. Yeah. It's him and Bad Bunny because but I think it speaks to the fact they've taken it seriously.
And then and then after that, Stephen Amell.
Yeah, again, another guy that took it seriously.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing that to me is the most impressive is that Bad Bunny took it very serious.
Yeah.
And you know, you can not like celebrities in wrestling, but the fact of the matter is they're going to be there, and if they're going to be there, I prefer them to do what Bad Bunny did and take it serious, respect the business. And I mean, Randy Orton came out afterwards and said, Bad Bunny from this moment forward is a WWE superstar in my mind.
right.
Like he earned my respect in that match.
If
He
Orton
said he
respects
saw
you,
him out
that's
there.
it.
He said he's like, yo, I seen him. He would be in the gym 2, 3, 4 times a week trying to find out what's going on with it. So I give him nothing but respect.
Honestly,
Bad Bunny literally is the greatest celebrity wrestler.
I'd like to see him come back. And
I
do
think
more.
he's going to end up coming
I
back
think
for
he will.
SummerSlam.
I think he'll come back.
Yeah.
I think what we have right here is someone that they can rely on to come back. That is a celebrity, because he is a genuine fan. He's made some genuine connections, and he's earned the respect of that whole locker room.
Because I feel like supposedly, because they're at this new Thunderdome. This is Thunderdome 3.0 now. We're at, and they're going to stay there all the way until August 2nd. Supposedly, the next big event with fans is going to be SummerSlam.
Well, and his tour that he's going to do next year kind of ends right around when WrestleMania will probably come up, so that he could even come in, you know, off the road and do something with WrestleMania, whether it's host or actually wrestle. I think that they'll want to have him involved in some way in a lot of their
They're going to beat
cards.
Roman.
So what's gonna happen with the Puerto Rican on the in the cupboard? Damian Priest.
Puerto Rican in the cupboard.
And Priest.
He's
The
not the
guy
Indian in
said
the
it's like
cupboard.
his back
Puerto
now.
Rican in the cupboard.
He looked like he was hurting. He looked hurt.
Yeah,
He wrestled like he was hurt. Because half of the shit he was doing, it didn't even look good.
I do think he may be a little hurt because he's usually pretty good as far as making his shit look nice. I think he might be a little hurt, but I think
go ahead.
I think he goes for a mid card though.
I thought it was interesting that they had him lose the very next night.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, he lost to Miz. Miz is in the straw.
Yeah, I mean, I know you want to get Miz a win back, but I don't know that you do it over the person that was supposed to be getting the rub off of that match at Mania.
Yeah, you don't do Damian Priest. There are other people you can have him with. Damian Priest isn't the one.
Like all you got to do is have somebody come out and start laughing at Miz for losing to Bad Bunny. Have Miz beat whoever that is.
Having him wrestle again 2 nights later on Monday. Like, let him heal up. Because I'm pretty sure him and Miz, or Miz and Morrison and Priest, one of them, some combination out of them, one of them, are going to fight him at WrestleMania Backlash.
Yep. All right, let's
Backlash, as we like to call it.
Let's go to the main event. Main event was before I forget about it, we had another breaking news thing a few days ago. Mauro Ranallo is making his return to wrestling. We'll call the main event of Impact Wrestling Rebellion.
To be fun.
Which will make that the best match in the last 2 to 3 months called by anybody in Impact Wrestling.
Pretty much. Yep. Fucking Matt Striker. All right, anyway, back to
color for that, Dan?
Yeah, deals will be
what?
color.
I'm going to defend my man Uncle Phil.
I don't have a problem with D'Lo. I got a problem with Matt.
Most of us, it's all Matt Striker. Delos is there. He actually brings his stuff is good. It's just Matt Striker that just gives us shit that we don't need to hear. I don't care. I don't need to know the description of this.
This move was created back in 1973. I don't give a fuck.
By Izagari Maganushu. What? Who? Like, we fucking know.
And he says it every fucking time. I said, dude, don't be you and fucking the masked dude from AEW. I swear to God, I can't take seriously.
Oh, Excalibur.
I fucking hate him. I hate Excalibur, dude. I really do. I can't with him.
Yo, I love how JR he be trying to call some Japanese names. That's a Muganushu suplex. JR be like belly to black suplex.
Yeah, I like when he's like, that's a tope suicida times 3 million. And JR's like, yo, buddy just jumped over the top rope.
Yeah, he just did a suicide dive.
Like, what a big suicide dive! A toupee con come out of.
JR ain't got time for that shit. Just pay me. I'm here to call it that.
That's a tope quesarito. And
make
JR's just sitting over there. Yeah, that's what I order at Taco Bell too, man.
JR is not with JR is like, I'm
Yo,
old.
nah,
baby.
chill, Justin.
JR's like,
JR is not with the shit.
I'm not gonna make 5 sentences for one move. I'm not doing that shit. Justin just killed Kenny.
We having them pointless ass trying to do all that shit.
His
I
hand
want
is
somebody
gone.
to describe all that shit. Y'all shouldn't have hired JR. JR ain't saying all that shit. He didn't say all that shit when he was in his prime calling matches.
No, look, you don't need to say every move. That's why JR is like, oh, what a hell of a right. slobbing. Like, it's just make it interesting.
That's why he blew up. Business has picked up. You're damn right it did, because I ain't about to describe all that shit.
Did I try to do that shit for sports? They want you to have like describe as many moves as you can, and I'm like, I can't.
I can't describe all this flippy shit. It's flips. You try to do that shit during a fucking Young Bucks match. A kick, super kick, another super kick.
I had to do that for them for another site a few years
Suck
ago
it,
for
super kick.
An AEW show, and Jesus Christ. I had to rewind that thing 15 fucking times. What the fuck was that? What happened?
Sus did. He jumped off the top rope. Oh, super kick. Oh, DDT. Oh, Meltzer driver. The end.
I was like, oh, that's gonna take him out for a while. No, never mind. Backspace is already back on his feet. All right, cool. We'll just okay. Keep it up. Keep going.
Shit.
And Kenny's back from the land of the dead.
Oh,
let's talk about
I ordered Taco Bell too. That got me. That got me.
The main event of night one was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks.
That was a great match.
Great match. Now, do you want to hear the bullshit? A good majority or a good chunk of the audience left before and during that match.
Oh. You want to hear the other bullshit?
Supposedly they retired.
They didn't show the celebration of
with Tez. Oh
yes, man.
Yeah,
that was good too. That was fucking.
That's what they should have showed. Like they obviously switched her whole personality when she was on the main roster. It went from her being the EST, I'm the baddest chick around here, to being I'm grateful, but I'm still the best. It switched to her being a legit face. At some point, when she went to SmackDown, it legit switched to her being a pure face.
Right.
So with a pure face win like that, and how they showed her parents' reaction to her winning the Royal Rumble, her crying and stuff like that. You show that moment with her husband picking her up and kissing her. You show that. Because if you made her that pure of a face, that's a pure face moment right there. You show that. So they dropped the ball definitely on that.
But aside from that,
I always thought I put it in the chat. I always thought with the Bianca Belair hair whip, I always just thought they used like a crack whip sound effect to help with that shit.
That is the braid.
Because I saw Bianca do that shit live, and that is not a sound effect. That shit is.
I wonder if she has like maybe a belt or something in there. Because first of all, I don't know about y'all. I done seen some weaves in my day. I done seen a lot of fake hair and weaves. And even my wife pointed it out. She said, there's got to be something in there to make that weave move like that. Because fake hair don't move that way. Like how he can whip like that. So I'm wondering, is there like maybe like a belt or something in there that gives it that malleability to move and to make that shit? Because hair should not rip you open the way it did Sasha's rib. She got hit with that shit.
No, and it tore her open. I mean, that was a big. I thought it was a welt at first. That's a fucking opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a great fucking match. That was probably top 3 matches of the weekend.
I got an unpopular opinion, and it's gonna make someone who is actually watching this podcast very upset.
Oh shit.
Oh
fuck.
It's gonna make somebody who's watching the podcast right now very upset, and I want to see their reaction, Mongo, when I put it up. When I say this,
all right.
Sasha Banks as a wrestler, fantastic, fan-fucking-tastic. Sasha Banks as an entertainer, absolutely sucks. Every promo sounds like she is forcing it. Every single one. It sounds like it first sounds like she's I hate to say this, she's trying too hard to sound ghetto. She's trying too hard to sound ghetto, and everything that she says when she is trying to say it sounds like she's about to cry. And shut the fuck up.
She came out of nowhere. You brought up Bianca. She came out of nowhere.
Bro,
you don't play about Bianca.
And he came in with the RKO out of nowhere.
She don't play. She the EST of the Rivers household.
Oh, shit. Oh, that was a good one. Hey, baby.
I saw that pop up. Oh.
But yo, I feel like she's really tries too hard. Like her promo skills suck. In the ring, she's good. There's nothing I can deny about her in the ring. I can't deny about her in the ring, but she struggles. Like I'm almost tempted to believe Kiera Hogan when she says Sasha stole her style. I'm almost tempted because it's a lot more natural coming out of Kiera than it is Sasha.
I feel like Sasha could have done better. And it just seems, I feel like at this point, she just melded in. Because Mongo said it before we started, in the last episode, the build to this match sucked. There was really it sucked.
But the thing
it was
about
just
it is,
Sasha to say, "Oh well, I'm better than you." Like it wasn't even Sasha's best work as a heel. She did a better job versus Bayley going in the takeover.
Her though, but that's always Sasha to me.
And then it's that laugh. It's that laugh that really killed it for me.
It's
after every sentence. Every sentence.
Like I wouldn't even listen to her half the time. Like the build was just so horrible. Like I could genuinely believe in Bianca, but like Sasha is just like,
oh no, honey, because I am honey, and that's how Sasha is all the time. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
And then I threw Reginald into the build. And
what the fuck was that about?
Like Sasha sounds too. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Sasha sounds like what Valley Girl sounds like when she's trying to be hood. That's what Sasha sounds like to me, and it's like, yo, just stop. Like, okay, you got hood credit because Snoop's your cousin. That's enough. You good?
I mean, she's from Boston, so it ain't like she's hood.
Now that's not true. Boston got the hood. No. Boston got a hood. Boston got a
she ain't from that hood.
Boston got a hood. Trust me.
She ain't from there. She might be scared if she go there.
But I feel like Sasha, she struggles. It really sounds like every time she talks, sounds like she's trying to hold back a cry.
It's time. I feel like she needs a break. It's time for her to take because she's been
Another
the whole
one?
pandemic. It was her and Bailey.
Another
Bailey this whole time.
Bro, but
No, not like that one. When she disappeared. I'm talking about like a month.
No,
you know,
she don't need
her and
she
Sasha,
don't need she needs acting
Sasha,
classes.
Her and Sasha, either her or Bailey are going to end up fighting again, or going to end up fighting Bianca.
It's Bailey, more than likely. It's Bailey, but Sasha needs acting classes. A lot of wrestlers need acting classes. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with that. This is a soap opera with action. Get the acting classes so you can be better actors and be better performers. You got the action part down packed. Right now, Sasha's, if we want to put it on the scale of what Hollywood, like, if you want to say, like, if you want to put it in a movie scenario, right now, Sasha would be the stunt man for Jason Statham instead of just being Jason Statham. Okay, like she can do the action, but she can't talk.
Okay, that's definitely it's a hot take.
UTR land, if you got hate mail, send it my way. Guess what? Fuck your hate mail.
Well, Kenny, we're about to go into another match that you probably hated. So I hope you're ready for that. The first match of night 2 was Randy Orton and The Fiend. The Fiend came out of a Jack in the Box.
I didn't mind that.
Everything about The Fiend was everything about Bray, the Fiend, was cool. I loved him going through the little portal. He was walking out, and then he magically was healed.
Right, I liked it.
All this time. That was cool. The ending to the match was what was stupid. The ending
was, for some reason,
it
was bleeding. We're apparently never gonna know.
Well, no, we do know. Pretty much, Bliss feels that she is more powerful than Bray now because she had her little promo on Monday. She feels she's more powerful. She feels that he was holding her back from true potential. So now we're gonna have now we have a feud with Bray and Alexa Bliss, which is fucking. I'm gonna be honest with you. Y'all know how I feel about Bray. Y'all know that's my boy. But at this point in time, I just take what's I've been given. I have no expectations anymore. And that's sad.
And I figured that's what they were gonna do with it.
So in one of the groups, Jackson, who's been on this podcast maybe twice,
MC No Show, shout out
MC
to
No Show, shared the Firefly Funhouse match from last year, which to this day it has held up incredibly well. It is probably one of the greatest character assassinations that's ever been on TV
with John Cena,
and it is. I mean, there's something that only wrestling fans would understand, but it was
amazing.
Let's be honest, that was art. That was fucking art, is what that was.
Yeah.
And when you let Bray go and let him do whatever he wants to do, you will get art out of Bray Wyatt. Whatever that was at WrestleMania this year was not it.
It was art until the match.
Just like their match at Mania when Bray was champion. This was not Bray's. This could not have been Bray's doing. This had to be.
Does Randy have a beef with Bray?
He has to, because Randy has stopped Bray's momentum 3 or 4 times now.
The shitty part about it is everyone is so abrupt on how everything switched. Because we all knew, Bray is going to win. And Randy, who has been there day in and day out for the most part for the whole pandemic, is finally going to go on vacation and get some time to chill. And you have Randy win, and then the next night he's fighting for a title shot. Why?
Also, the other part was Bray eats all these moves.
And one RKO killed him.
One
RKO. Right.
Goldberg speared his ass 3 times and gave him a shitty ass suplex hammer. And Randy hits one RKO.
Yeah,
and I don't even think Roman even touched him in that triple threat match when he did win the title back. I don't even think they hardly exchanged any punches.
I think he beat Braun, didn't he?
Yeah, he pinned Braun. He murdered Braun. And
like they did.
I don't think they were, because at that point we were like, oh, they're making sure we don't get Fiend versus Roman. And next thing you know, Bray got shipped over to Raw.
Yep.
I told you I have no expectations with Bray's character anymore.
This is why.
And then we had a couple years ago where Bray loses the title to Orton.
Yep.
Then you get the match between. I think so. Then like the next pay-per-view, like Asslash or whatever it was that year.
Oh yeah, they had House of Horrors.
They did Randy versus him, but it was for the title. But then like
all of a sudden the title.
That's what I'm fixing to say. They kept saying it was for the title. And then the night of, it became a non-title match, and then Bray switched brands like the next night.
Bray won because of gender, and then
right. But Bray that going into it, it was talked up as a title rematch, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you get to the card. Oh, it's not a title match anymore, by the way, guys.
Yep.
And Bray wins it, but then Bray goes to the other brand, and then gender comes in and takes over.
Randy has to hate Bray. I don't understand what it is, but every time they get together, Randy comes out on top. I mean, Randy burnt him to death.
Burn his house down.
Burn his house down, burned to death, and then he comes back to life and just loses again. And it's just like, what the fuck? What?
And it makes no sense for that story. I hated reading. They're like, well, at first they were going to have Randy lose, and then they decided to change it at the last minute.
Can we get Bray's own music back?
Can we get old Bray back?
Please.
I'm kind of done with the Fiend.
Yeah.
The Fiend was supposed to be. The Fiend was supposed to do two things: fix every mistake in Bray Wyatt's career, go back and avenge all the losses, and not be as beatable as Bray. That's the whole point.
Can y'all tell me? Can you tell me I'm right again? Because remember, I told y'all from the get-go I wasn't on board with this new character and this whole shit. Y'all like, give it a chance, Kenny, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance.
No, it was good. It's not the character is good. Bray as
Bray
Rogers, Bray,
is good,
and the Fiend, all that is good.
Him preaching like Big E was fucking funny as shit this week.
Yeah,
that shit was funny.
Anything Bray does is gold. It is the fact that the WWE can't figure out how to.
Here's
let him.
Here's the issue, though. How can they get rid of the Fiend now? And because it's too much of a cash grab.
Well,
like that's literally what they realized that, because all leading up to it, we kept seeing promos. Oh, what is this going to be? What is this going to be? Then when he did show up, we're like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. WWE saw how popular it was, and then we got Fiend crap out the ass.
Well, then they go to Burnt Fiend, so that's new mask, new shirts,
right?
New everything. Then they switch back to this new Fiend, and now Alexa's got gear out the ass for herself. It's a big cash grab, so I don't know how you get rid of it now, because the merch side of things is dictating the too much.
Right.
In terms
that stupid ass Fiend world title. That belt was stupid.
Is the Fiend the reason we don't see the Demon anymore?
Apparently.
Well, Finn said that. Finn pissed me off. He said because
he didn't need it, basically. But
he said it's a crutch at this point. He said, I don't need the Finn. With the work that I do now, with the character as the Prince, there is no reason that I need to come out as the Demon. That they used the Demon date, because think about it. When he was the first time around, the Demon was cool. And then the Demon got used over and over and over. The Demon beat AJ Styles. He had to be the Demon in order to beat Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. But remember when him and Bray were getting a fight, and then Bray got that stomach bug or whatever? It was going to be Sister Abigail or whatever the fuck Bray was going to be dressed up as, and it was going to be the Demon versus Sister Abigail. Then Bray got sick.
But wasn't the Demon and the Prince intertwined in New Japan?
his name in New Japan was Prince Devitt.
Yeah, but when did that? Because I didn't know about Finn until he got to NXT. When did that demon character become popular? Didn't it become popular?
He never used the demon in New Japan.
He wasn't a demon in New Japan. He just did paint in New Japan.
He did. Yeah, he did. The main thing with the paint and everything, he did a lot of cosplaying. Like when we see Johnny Gargano come out wearing those Marvel things, he had an interest where he came out as the Joker. He had an interest where he came out as Hannibal Lecter.
The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde one was dope.
Yeah.
He got over to NXT. He got his ass beat a whole bunch of times. And then he said, okay, well, you're going to see this new side of me that nobody else has ever seen before. And he said,
the demon paint is based off of his Venom paint that he did.
Right.
That is like last year at New Japan.
Yo, you need to go back to cosplay. I like that. That's cool for you. Come out in the Hannibal Lecter. That's how you can come back and beat Cross. Come out that you in the Hannibal Lecter for Cross. If they wanted to go that route.
Do we want to do that? I feel like Finn's not going back to the main roster.
I don't know what they could possibly do at this point. A lot of people are like, well, it worked for Finn. They're thinking that somebody else should go down to NXT and do like Finn did. I don't know who that person could be. I feel like maybe Finn could, now that it's been a year down there and he's done everything, honestly.
A little over a year, yeah.
Like, go back to Raw?
North American Championship step down.
SmackDown.
Yeah,
Finn and Roman would be interesting.
Yeah. He would have to go back to SmackDown because going to Raw right now, he'd be boring. Because I'm going to be honest right now, let's be realistic. Raw's boring.
Well, they're going to obviously probably do a superstar shakeup soon, right?
My whole thing is there were no call-ups after WrestleMania.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering if there's going to be a shakeup coming. And that's why we didn't get any of the call-ups like we normally do.
I feel like since there's no fans, they're just going to... Because remember last year when this shit was new and fresh to us, we didn't really... Think about how much of a dud it was when the Street Profits were fighting, and then out of nowhere, Bianca popped up and said, "I go here now."
Yeah, the call-up's got to make sense.
And then she just disappeared. She disappeared because it was just like she needs a crowd. Her gimmick needs that interaction, that fan interaction, to respond to her. Even with them being on a screen, that's something. But when they had those shows, when it was nobody, they were just at the Performance Center, her character, it sucked. And we saw...
Well, they have the screens now, so they could have called up somebody.
I feel like right now, and then it's like, we're back at the Thunderdome, and there's no point. People are going to be expecting it. Let's just hold off. I feel like people could pop up. Somebody could pop up tomorrow night. Awesome. I feel like they decided to hold off because they knew we're like, oh, not after WrestleMania. Let's do it. And they're like, nope.
All right, well, let's go ahead and finish.
I don't know who they could call up besides
let's finish up the
Sarai is going to be called up.
Yeah, let's finish.
Who on the men's side? Is Adam Cole going to get called up after getting murdered?
Let's finish up the Mania card. Nia Shayna beat Tamina and Natty. Again, the crowd really was into Tamina.
Really quick thing on that. I was looking back through. That match went 14 minutes on the nose. The Fiend match went 5 minutes. And the match we'll talk about next was a 9-minute match. Yeah, so they gave this match a lot more.
The entrances for Fiend and Randy were longer.
This is the second longest match of the night. Only thing that was longer than it was the main event. Next up was Kevin Owens beating Sami Zayn, and Sami had Logan Paul in his corner.
And that man got stunned.
Yeah, he beat Sami, then he stunned Logan. Hopefully we're done with Logan Paul. Fuck the balls.
And then he caught COVID.
Then he caught COVID. God damn it.
And then he went to his brother's fight last night. Probably gave everybody else COVID at that fight.
Fucking idiot. I hate him and his brother. They're all people. I fucking hate those. Anyway, Sheamus beat Riddle to become the United States champion. Good match.
Good fucking match. Fuck the outcome because we didn't need Riddle Sheamus to win for NWO side, but good ass fucking match.
Yeah. That was that felt like a Mania match. I think
that was a good ass ending.
The flip and the bro kick.
Yeah, he caught him square.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that boy
and the
was
other thing with that, Kenny has talked about this before, that the mid-card title should elevate you into the big title scene. Right. I like the way that they took Sheamus into the big title scene, never gave him the title, and immediately transitioned him back into the mid-card because he was hot again. Right. And gave him that mid-card title. Like it was the reverse of what Kenny's talked about before of, the mid-card going to the big title. It was the big title coming back down. So I actually really liked the transition that we got from Sheamus coming out of nowhere with Drew. That was a good story. I thought Sheamus came out of that Drew feud looking the best he's looked in years.
Yeah.
That was it was a good thank you for everything you have done during this time.
That was
also been great during this whole pandemic.
Also, I read that this was pretty much a reset to what they originally planned. Because remember, Riddle was not supposed to win the belt. It was supposed to have been Keith Lee.
Yep.
And supposedly the plan was still for Keith Lee to lose to Sheamus at WrestleMania. So they just kind of got back on track for what they originally planned. So Sheamus was technically supposed to win the belt regardless at WrestleMania.
And I love Keith Lee. I think it would have been as good if it was Keith Lee instead of Riddle.
Yeah.
They almost still had Riddle. They almost still had Riddle win on Sunday. Like they were still going back and forth.
Riddle hits a bit harder. That's what Sheamus likes. Sheamus likes someone that can beat his ass. That's what he.
That bro kick spot was just phenomenal.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah.
I mean, he caught him.
The scary part of that match was Sheamus almost killed both of them. He almost killed Riddle when he slipped.
Oh, yeah, that was the one bad
remember
spot.
that botch.
But I remember the botch, and I remember that happening. But they did such a good job, like before that and after that, that I mean, it wasn't something that overshadowed the match.
Sheamus saved both of their life by jumping down correctly on both feet and not dropping nobody. Sheamus saved everybody's life.
And he hit a move coming out of it too. So it made it. We knew it was a botch, but he did a really, really good job of saving it, turning it into an effective move.
Sheamus is strong to still be having him on his back, slip, land on your feet, and still complete the move.
My leg blowing out if I'd done that shit. It was good. Next up was Apollo beating Big E with the return of Dabba-Kato.
Love that ending.
Yeah, I did too. I like
the fact that Apollo's getting good shine now.
Yes.
Because the problem was with Apollo is they called Apollo up too quick.
Before he could even get a character.
Like Apollo got three weeks of straight cheers from the crowd, and main roster called his ass up. When he popped up on the main roster, people were like, "Who the fuck was this?" Only hardcore NXT fans like, "Hey, that's that black dude that I saw last week."
Right.
Like that's what we was like. And then when they did give him his first title run, his first mid-card title run with the US title, it was like, okay, you deserve it, but
like it was good, but it's like you could be better.
Right. It was like you deserve it.
It didn't feel believable because he was just walking around smiling all the time. Like it was it just wasn't like. But this new version of him, I think, is really good. I mentioned it earlier. I love the fact that he went back to the Nigerian roots thing, and then the fact that Dabba-Kato actually is Nigerian too, or half Nigerian.
General Aziz.
I just think that's the coolest. I don't know if you call it a callback, but just being able to insert someone who is actually half Nigerian. They're not just putting some random dude who in there.
So is Apollo Crews the new Iron Sheik then?
He's the new Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay. Well, no, because we never seen him with a U.S. flag. So he got to be.
He was U.S. champion.
So he never had a flag. He's the only flag I've seen him with is the Nigerian one so far. So I guess it's got to be Sheik.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, I really like that. I think it's gonna be fun to see what they do with that.
It was a great way to. They'll probably have him and Big E will probably get a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash.
What the fuck is that
about?
That
transitions Big E.
Why is that the name?
He can the upper mid card, but let him. We all want to see him versus Roman. Like, let's.
I think it's a Peacock thing about the WrestleMania. I think it's like trying to get people to come back to the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. They honestly need all the work they can get to work the kinks out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that app is fucking terrible. Rhea Ripley beat Asuka for the women's championship on Raw. It was good, but there's some things kind of messed up there. I think it's just two people that don't really work well together.
Yeah.
Again, it sucks.
Was I the only one who kind of didn't want Rhea Ripley to win?
I didn't want her to win just because I wanted Asuka to have one good title defense that wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't want Rhea to win because Asuka has. If it wasn't Bayley and Sasha, Asuka has carried the company during this whole freaking for the women. Mm-hmm. She's been phenomenal.
She just
give her due, give her just due, and have a successful title defense. Why is it on top of that? Just let her win to finish out the year. Let her lose to Rhea the next night on Raw or some bullshit. But let her get that WrestleMania moment. Why is it every time Asuka shows up at WrestleMania, someone is beating her? She got there the first time. She won the Women's Royal Rumble, and then Charlotte beats her. And she said, well, Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Now she gets there again, and she loses. She has the title, and now she loses it at WrestleMania. What's the whole point of her kicking ass and all that for a whole year to just get squat? Like, Rhea hit her finisher, and that was it. She didn't even kick out.
I think we also saw Rhea get beat last year at Mania.
And that's what made it even hard for Rhea to lose, because it's like now she's 0 for 2 at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you almost again, and this is something we saw throughout the week, both with TakeOver and with WrestleMania. You had matches booked with folks that you didn't want either of them. Neither of them could really afford to lose, or they both needed a win. And in that case, I thought Asuka did need a win to solidify her career at WrestleMania. But also, Rhea couldn't afford to lose that match, because then, what do you do from there with her?
Right.
Because at that point, she's 0-2.
That's the other thing is you put her in a spot though she can't lose. So right. So the only option is to have the one you've already booked like shit to lose.
And now Charlotte is back.
Yep, I can't wait for that.
People are going to be angry about that again.
Mm-hmm. Charlotte's going to beat Rhea again, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Either Charlotte's going to beat her, or she's going to pin. Either Charlotte is going to win, or Charlotte will win by pinning Asuka. Someone's getting fucked. It's either Rhea or Asuka. Asuka's getting pinned, and Rhea's going to lose her belt. And who gets fucked in that situation? The fans, because then Charlotte has another title reign.
Last match of the night was Roman Reigns against Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Murder.
Here we go. So when Edge won the Rumble,
I went on a rant. When Edge won the Rumble, I went on a rant and said we don't fucking want Edge, and he should not fucking win. And I went on a rant saying that Edge wasn't doing shit for himself except building his fucking ego by being in this fucking match. I also went on a rant saying DB was doing the same fucking thing by inserting himself in this fucking match. I also said that they would probably put the belt on Edge because his fucking ego would make that happen. They did not put the belt on Edge at WrestleMania. Roman won. So did Edge put over a younger talent? I admit I am wrong. Yes, he did by letting Roman win. Now, they are pulling some bullshit talking about Edge technically should be the winner since he was on top. But
that is not the WWE doing that. That is the fans doing that.
The fans started saying it. The fans started mentioning it. So then the referee had to
come out and say that no, this is
my decision. He said it's under my discretion. The decision.
Here's the thing. Even if the fans wanted to say that, if I'm looking at that tape, which I did, Edge's shoulders were on the mat as well. The only person's shoulders who were not on the mat was Roman Reigns. So technically, he did pin both of them. Because if it was a regular one-on-one match, guess what would have happened? It'd have been a no contest because both men's shoulders were down.
Right.
It was a pretty dominant win for Roman.
And the fact that they didn't even try
I
to
wouldn't
bring it
say
up
dominant.
At the end, I think Jay coming in kind of weakens it a little bit. I know like he's had help in all of his other matches
for most of the match. Edge looked stronger.
Edge did look strong pretty here, but I think it would have helped if Roman didn't get Jay's help.
Right.
Honestly, Roman looked strong at like the last 35 seconds of that match. The rest of the match, Edge looked like the favorite and like the person that was getting the rub from this match. Like he looked like he was the one being put over for like 98% of the match.
That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened.
Well, at least we didn't hear and knew. Yeah. We got a rare WrestleMania in which both world champions, when we've had two world champions, both retain.
I thought it did a good job in keeping everybody looking good. Because DB got his stuff in too.
DB got one last WrestleMania. I don't know. I feel like his contract.
His contract's up in the fall, and he's going to move to a part-timer's contract.
So that was one last WrestleMania moment for him. I didn't think he was going to win anyway. That was just nice. Let him get that feel good. Give him that moment.
I'm sorry. I wanted the way that Roman's built and booked at this moment in time between these two old timers, this should have been a Brock Lesnar ass kicking. The way Brock murders certain people in the ring. You know how like certain competitors, Brock comes in and just remember how Brock introduced Cena. Like when he introduced Cena to Suplex City, Roman should have introduced them to Superman Punch City all fucking night long. Like he should have literally, with the way that they book Roman being the man, the tribal chief, and these two guys being old and shit like that. I felt it should have been a beat down. Like they would have had to jump him and use like a chair to keep him down or something like that. But overall, it should have been a beat down by Roman.
So why are we calling Daniel Bryan old?
You know what? You're absolutely right. Daniel Bryan is not old. Daniel Bryan is not old.
Beaten up, yes. I'll give you that. His body is old.
Yeah. His body is making, you know what it is? His body has made him older than what he is.
Yeah, his body's old.
Okay. Right.
His body has aged him. His body has aged him, and his body has aged him. And honestly, when he became Mr. Feeney, he turned old.
I feel like he knew when he got this second chance at wrestling that he was on borrowed time. So he's just been doing that. It seemed like once he got that time to be able to come back, he basically was like, all right, I have this chance. I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to fight this person, this person, this person, this person, because I'm done. I am done after this. And
I think, do we think once he moves to part-timer, we just start getting those dream matches is for 2 or 3 years, and then he's done for good?
Probably. I mean, DB he genuinely loves wrestling. So he'll stick around. He'll probably put folks over.
Put some people over. Fight AJ.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think we'll get
the AJ match. I mean, it's it'll be a good little bow for his career. Hope he's happy just to be back. Like,
right.
We didn't expect him to have any more time, let alone he had like another WWE Championship run. He's held the mid-card belt a few times. It was the thing about Roman not having like a super dominant thing. I'm okay with it because DB and Edge were both trying to make a statement on Roman. And every match Roman's had since winning that belt, he has had to have help anyway. Even if Edge is old, even if Daniel Bryan's beaten down, they are two veterans. Daniel Bryan took Brock Lesnar to the brink.
Right.
Daniel Bryan's not a punk. Daniel Bryan has taken someone that has beaten Roman's ass multiple times to the brink.
Absolutely.
So
at this stage of their career,
because people were sure not scared when he fought him at Survivor Series.
But they're at a stage of their career. This should have been the moment where they let Roman just go run roughshod over him. They no longer have to do anything else except put somebody like Roman over, and they could have done that in an emphatic way, kind of like what me and Kenny I think we're hoping for, where Roman just comes out and just destroys everybody in the ring, no help, no nothing. It's him asserting himself as the tribal chief. And instead, I don't care how crafty Edge is, I don't care how great of a wrestler DB is, I wanted Roman to just destroy everyone.
I don't think you two would have been happy with how they would have done this anyway. Like, I feel like you two came into this going to like, you're not going to enjoy it, and just kind of.
I think
no, that's not true. That's not true.
I feel like
I'm always willing to give a match. I'm always willing to give a match an opportunity. I'm always willing to give a match an opportunity. So
it felt like Edge was put over for most of the match.
Yeah, it was, man. Like
he got all the great spots in this match up until the very end.
Right, literally. This was.
I don't think he got all the great spots. I think like everyone had moments. You can say Edge. Roman's moment was the last 30 seconds. The moment that counts. The moment that counts is the last 30 seconds because that's who the winner is. So Roman had that moment. DB had probably a good 2-3 minutes.
And then they had that moment when they both had him in the submission. They had Roman in the submission,
but most of it was Edge. Most of it was Edge.
Yeah, I can see why it would be on Edge. It would be on Edge because Edge was technically he was the Royal Rumble winner. DB was
fucking happened to begin with.
Just there, so they were going to focus on him. Like, oh, well, can he won the Rumble? Can he complete the comeback?
Should have never happened.
It's a 21-minute match. Edge is the ultimate opportunist. His moment should have been isolated to like a 30 to 45 second spot in there somewhere where he almost wins by taking advantage of a mistake. Not where he takes over the match for like 12 minutes.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this match.
I feel like I don't remember it being this
one-sided.
I wasn't mad about the spotlight with Edge just because, one, he was the Rumble winner. And then, two, it was like for most of this build, he was the wily veteran. Then DB gets inserted, and he had that whole promo on the Go Home show of SmackDown where he got his beard redone. He looked like old Edge. And he's like, I'm tired of y'all calling me old. I just want my opportunity. I want my shot at what I didn't lose. I'm going back to being the ultimate opportunist. He did all that. He tried it. He lost. I don't know what they're even about to do with Edge now. What is Edge? Is Edge done? Is he gonna pop back up at WrestleMania Backlash? Or
he's gonna come back later. They don't have night 2 on Peacock.
It should have been available at midnight.
It's only night 1. I'm looking at it right now. They only have night 1.
Wow, Peacock, y'all fucked up because in the fine print it says on the app the show will be able to be replayed an hour after it ended. It should have been available at midnight that night.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Really? Okay, so it's not. If you go to WrestleMania itself, you know it has like the seasons and shit.
Yeah,
it's not there. It's here.
You can search
but you've got to search for it.
Yeah, when I went back to watch night 1, I had to search it.
Like, well, now you can just find that one of the WrestleMania stuff, but you have to search for night 2.
I had to search for night 1, but that was like the next day.
Okay.
Why?
They're
Why
not
are they
good at that shit. They gotta. Whoever was running the network in WWE, y'all need to go talk to them and hire them or something. They're gonna have to integrate that. That as good as that deal was, them making money $1 billion and all that. The functionality, that app is not that. Peacock was not made for wrestling.
So what did y'all think about WrestleMania? What did y'all think about WrestleMania overall? What did you get?
It was good.
I think
the highs outweigh the lows.
I'd go B plus.
Yeah, B plus.
And I'd say Takeover was an A.
I give WrestleMania a B. I'll give it a B. I didn't the Drew Lashley finish was too for me. The dominance of Edge was a little too much for me, so that's why I'll give it a B.
Somewhere in that B to B plus range is probably fair for that. And then I think Takeover it's probably A minus to A territory. Right. I don't think it was like the best Takeover ever or anything, but it was good, and it was better than WrestleMania, I think.
Oh yeah,
and mostly because I think night 2 for WrestleMania was just not. It didn't do it for me.
I feel like night 2 was just built off of fuckery. It started off, as soon as we got that Lashley Bobby result, it's like, okay, y'all on some bullshit for night 2. This ain't about to be cool.
They killed so much of the momentum from night 1 into night 2 with the Fiend and the women's tag match being so bad.
Right. You started off the night. It's like, oh man, we're so excited see Bianca win, and all right, here's Drew. Here's Fiend loss. Okay, well that sucks. And here we're gonna follow it up with the women's title match. People that the crowd is going crazy for. Oh, they lose too. Fuck this.
Overall, I think it was a good week of wrestling.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, folks. We're got to be back. We're back next week to talk about
the week.
Next week is
Rebellion, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's next Sunday. So we'll be doing Rebellion is
it's on the
25th
or the 24th.
So it's a Sunday. No, the 24th. It's a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pay-per-view's on a Saturday, so it's the 24th.
They changed the shit around so many times. I'm not entirely sure. 25th.
Oh, it is the 25th?
The 25th. Yep. So we'll be able to give predictions right before the show starts.
And then the bullshit is it's not even going to be on Fight TV.
Nope.
Yeah, one more week.
That's a good fucking card though for that show.
One more week in my title, and then one of y'all is probably going to take it.
So next week we'll start with the predictions, and then we'll just do everything else because the show will probably be going on while we're talking. But until then, thanks for watching us, folks. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, however you found us, we really appreciate it. You can follow us at facebook.com/Under the Ring Podcast. Twitch, of course, twitch.tv/Under the Ring Pod. You can follow me at twitter.com/Greg Bush SK. I'll update every Facebook page and Twitter with any news we talk about, any of these posts we do, any news that we see. And then for Mike, you can follow On the Mike Productions at Facebook and YouTube. And is there anything else I'm missing, fellas?
No.
All right. Well, until next time, it's been Mongo. Everybody else here, Under the Ring Podcast out.
Call me
Chuck Norris, bitches.
Yeah.